Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Tyvis Powell, Jason Lloyd. Plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, welcome everybody to a Tuesday edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with Jason Lloyd and Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got Mikey McNuggets. Anthony, he's on vacation this week. That's right.
It's his birthday week.
I can't believe.
What'd you say? Oh, it's his birthday week?
Yeah, Friday.
You can't believe he takes vacation.
Yeah.
Tyvis, the man who doesn't take vacation.
Y'all, it's sad that y'all listen. What we do?
No, it's not.
First of all, listen. What I do?
Yeah.
And what we do, it doesn't seem like work to me.
It doesn't either. But
so I love coming in here and talking.
I
so
do
therefore,
too.
I don't. What do I need to take a vacation for?
I hear what you're saying, Tyvis. We all love doing this, and that makes it special. We work in the toy department,
Yes.
if you will, right?
Yes.
It doesn't mean you don't need time to recharge the batteries and be with family. I know you're in the minority here because you're the only one here that doesn't take a vacation, and it's by choice.
Yeah.
You've worked hard in your life. Your wife has worked hard. You deserve it.
I've only been doing this sports talk.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
That's right.
No, sports talk for 3 years. So it's not like it's still relatively new.
I hear you.
So I don't really.
If you're working a company that gives you 4 weeks vacation and they say use it or lose it,
I just lose it.
Then that's bad, and the other employees would be pissed at you.
Why?
When I was working at the radio station,
I'm trying to win Employee of the Month every month.
When I was working at the radio station, I would any of the on-air people that didn't take their time off, I'd get pissed at them.
why? Who cares?
You owe it. It's some loyalty. It's bad enough.
What do you mean?
It's bad enough the state of Ohio hates unions, and we don't have a union in New York. I worked when I was on the radio working part-time. I got benefits because we had a union. Here, there's no union. But
I don't understand if I choose not to take the vacation days.
Because in solidarity, you should take time off. That's what it is.
I'm sure that I would like.
You have earned it.
Maybe
You've worked hard your whole life.
miss a day to go like do something like.
I think you should.
Like it's a
Jason,
birthday
tell
or
him.
something.
You take vacations.
Jason's been. How long you been doing this?
Too long.
See?
Yeah, 25 years.
When you was 3 years in, did you
Don't you
take
think
that?
your wife? We've already discussed this. Your wife would love to go on vacation.
Yes, the kids, the memories that you make.
My wife.
Now, in fairness, his kids are still young. They probably wouldn't remember any of the
and
vacations.
I've said this
but
before. The beauty of UCSS
yeah.
is like, you and I
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and take Thursday.
Well,
Friday
yeah, we
off.
do 2 days a week, right? You and I do 2 days a week. What are you doing in the summer? I don't even know. How many days a week do you do in the summer?
I'm averaging.
All over?
It's averaging 3,
Okay.
but it's been
But
different.
for Tyvis and I, we do 2 days a week in the summer.
Yeah.
You could do Monday, Tuesday, 1 week.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday,
That's
the following
true.
week, and get a full week off.
and not even miss a day of work. That's true.
And I've kind of staggered that a little
You
bit.
got to do it when your kids are a little
listen.
older because they're going to want to go places, and you're going to want to take care of them that way.
Steve needs me.
He does.
If people go down and if Jason would have taken vacation,
Yeah.
he'll say, Tyvis, can you work that
That's
day?
right.
And I'll say, I got you.
That's right. That's right, Tyvis. Listen, we all need you, but you deserve some time off. All right, we'll leave it there for now. Mike, you got anything to say for yourself before we get to all this craziness with Brandon Aiyuk?
You got anything to say for yourself?
What do you got to say for yourself?
No, you should take vacations. It is important.
Yeah.
I do not do, to Tyvis's side of this, I have not done a good enough job throughout my career using the vacation days provided to me. But I'm getting better at it.
You got to. And listen, I get it. Tyvis was in a career before this where he had to fight for his job every day. You couldn't take a day off. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right. I get it. But you're not going anywhere.
This is different.
Nobody's looking at you're not getting cut here.
Listen, it's new young blood that's willing to get into this media space. It's guys that's getting cut off of NFL rosters every day that's looking to transition.
That would never happen.
If Marquise Goodwin said I wanted to come be a member on the UCSS, Steve would be like, we'll take you right
Peace,
now.
Tyvis.
My point exactly.
If they tried to replace Tyvis with Marcus Goodwin, I'd quit. I'd quit before that would happen. First of all, it wouldn't happen. They wouldn't do it, and I'd quit before I'd let it happen.
And by the way, I've said this before. It is not easy for athletes to do this. Not all of them can do this. It takes.
That's right.
Tyvis can see things and explain them to idiots like me in a way that a lot of other players can't. And there's an art to that, and there's a talent involved in that. Not every former player can walk off the field and walk into a set and sit down and
you're not afraid to be critical, which a lot of former athletes are afraid to be critical. So
it's not. Well, it's the way I critique. You know, like I said,
you don't kill anybody.
Yeah, I give it to them like if we go into the film room and you watching it with your coach, I'm gonna tell you exactly what your coach.
There you go. That's what we need, honesty.
Why would you be mad at that?
All right. Well, later we'll get to the Guardians, who lost a heartbreaker to the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. They're back in action against the Diamondbacks today. But there's a lot of football to get to, a lot of different topics with the Browns. We have updates on the stadium. We have updates on the facility in Berea. We have updates on how Ken Dorsey's feeling about not calling plays. Jason was at the press conference. We'll get to that. But we got to begin with everything surrounding a potential Brandon Aiyuk trade after this.
We made the rundown last night, and the rundown we're going to do today looks completely different than what we initially sent out, and that's the beauty of UCSS. We can adapt on the fly. It's also the beauty of FanDuel, because if the bet you're looking for isn't there tonight, it's assured to be there tomorrow, because FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook in America. You guys know I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop, but as the summer days go on and on, we get fewer and fewer games, and the sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Now, Bull, you alluded to this a second ago, but the smoke between the Browns and Brandon Aiyuk continues to get more and more drastic, and the tidal wave of reporting on this situation has been a roller coaster. So let's start from the beginning.
And some of this is an example, to be honest, of bad reporting and what's the word I'm looking for?
Aggregation?
Aggregation, which people have been complaining about. It's that idiot Dove Kleinman, whoever the hell he is. I don't know why people got to stop tweeting what he puts out there, and because. Let's face it, when before Elon Musk, and it's nothing to do with him or politics or anything, it really is not. But before he took over Twitter, you kind of knew who you could trust on Twitter because the blue check mark had value. Now the blue check mark has zero value, and you're not sure what's legit and what's not. You can't even judge it by the amount of Twitter followers, because some of these aggregator tweets, I'm driving in, I put on the radio for a second, my old buddies Jeff and Andy, and they're referencing some Twitter handle online that I've never heard of. It's an aggregation. I mean, I heard of it, but it's like one of these aggregation things. You have no idea if it's legit. So you got to be careful. What's happened with some of this reporting is strange, and I think ultimately one of the strangest things is that the big guns haven't reported any of this.
Well,
right?
Let's take people on a timeline of the reporting.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're not as up to date as
fair.
We are
Go
with what's
ahead.
happening.
Give us a timeline.
It all started over the weekend when someone named Cam Marino, who used to work for USA Today, and now he's an NFL draft scout, put out this tweet that we referenced yesterday. The Patriots and Browns are the front runners in trade discussions for 49ers star receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Both teams offer more than $30 million. The Steelers could be in the mix. Yada yada yada.
Now, again, I never heard. Have you heard of this guy, Cam Marino?
No.
Okay. It doesn't mean he doesn't have a legitimate source. Right. I don't know. He has no. I don't know anybody that's heard of this guy. By the way, you say he's an NFL draft scout. He may have just put that in his Twitter bio. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just in his
Twitter
bio.
I don't know that he's really an NFL draft scout. Again, I don't mean to disparage him. I just, he's not a source that we've ever used for any legitimate fashion. So I saw that. When I saw that, I didn't believe it.
So then last night,
yeah.
The next chapter in this saga, we discussed that tweet at length yesterday. Then this came late last night from Joe Macchio of NBC.
Joe Macchi. Isn't it Matt?
Matt Macchi.
I believe it's Matt
Macchio, NBCS. Another guy who is big in the – it's Matt, by the way. It is Matt. Yeah. I don't know why I said Joe. But he tweeted this out last night from the 49ers on NBC Sports, which is a reputable outlet.
And this guy I know. You've heard of him probably, Jason.
Heard
of
him. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know him either, but I've heard, he's been covering the Niners, Matt Mayoko, for a while. I think he's been covering them for a long time.
And this tweet essentially said that the Niners and the Browns and Patriots have agreed upon some sort of framework for a Brandon Aiyuk trade.
Right.
Now it's up to Aiyuk to decide whether or not to accept each team's contract extension.
Okay, so the conversations about this yesterday were, again, I don't know about you guys, I wasn't taking that first report seriously. The second one I took a little more seriously because Matt Maiocco I've heard of, and he's a legitimate beat reporter who's around the team. Now, it is still weird that there's been nothing from Schefter on this and nothing from Rappaport. Now,
well, that brings us to the last part of this bowl.
Okay, go ahead.
And this was from ESPN. Now, Schefter retweeted this report from Mike Reese, who is very much in the know with the Patriots. And he tweeted this out this morning. The Niners are now willing to listen to trade offers for Brandon Aiyuk and have given the star wide receiver permission to negotiate a contract with other teams. So, from the ESPN standpoint, they are not nearly as far down the pathway as what Matt
Maiocco, I believe that's how you pronounce
had
it.
tweeted out the night before, which made it seem like they were right on the precipice. And in the article from Matt Maiocco, which is going to bring us to the second part of the conversation after this, he alluded to the fact, based off a Mary Kay article, which was more of a column than an article.
Right, it was more, it was her speculating.
Yeah, that Cooper would be part of the deal, sending back to San Francisco in return for Aiyuk.
And that really took off. I know Warren Sharp, who's an analytics guy, has a good site on analytics. He kind of ran with that, and he posted it as if that was being reported. So I don't know that that's being reported by anybody. Jason, as the reporter here, what do you make of the reporting around this? Now, obviously, sometimes Schefter and Rappaport get beat. Just because they're not on, it doesn't mean, that it's wrong.
No, but you're right. There's certain places that you take it immediately, and there's other places that you dismiss it. If it comes from ESPN, if it comes from NFL Network, if it comes from us, if it comes from The Athletic, I'd say it's pretty well locked down.
Yeah.
Some of these other ones, it's a lot of times it's just rumors.
Yeah.
I do think that there's interest on both sides. I have no idea how far down the line it is. I'm not going to pretend to know.
Right.
I don't know. The thing that I can't wrap my head around is what is the rush on San Francisco's end of this to do this?
To get them in the system so they can get chemistry before the season starts.
Because it's August. And I get it. Like, you want to have clarity and you want to have you want to know who your team is going forward, and if there's a big trade coming, you want to get that guy time within your system. I get all that.
Wouldn't you wait for an injury or something
I'm just a little bit surprised that San Francisco seems to be the one that's pushing this, and it's August.
Is he practicing?
I saw him on the field the other day.
He's not. He's holding in, not practicing. But
same as Jamar Chase.
Well, he's getting paid. Brandon Aiyuk is not.
Not by the Niners.
No, not by the Niners.
I'm a little bit baffled by the timeline, by just San Francisco's urgency on this to be. I guess if you're not going to pay him, then you want to get clarity on it, and you want to get your team in place, and you want to go.
I think that's why if the rumors are true, that's why they looking for the player in exchange so they can. Because they still gonna need, like, if you trade him and don't get a receiver back, you going in the season with Debo and a rookie and Juwan.
Now they have Kittle, and obviously McCaffrey and Kittle are a big part. But still, you're trying to win. The Niners are trying to win a Super Bowl.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's like, I need to, if we're gonna trade him, we need to just go ahead, let's get rid of him and get the next guy in here so we can get him caught up to speed, because this is a team that penciled in for the Super Bowl this year. They got arguably the best roster in the NFL, so you might want to get your chemistry down. So week one, I don't know who they play week one, but you want to come out the gate just rolling. And I feel like if you are going to make this trade with the Browns, and Cooper would be the perfect part. I said this a couple weeks ago. I said Cooper would be perfect because he does exactly what Brandon Aiyuk does. And I always say everybody's talking about, if Cooper's a part of it, like yesterday, they all said they didn't want to do it if Cooper was a part of it.
So it was Jay, G, and Earl on the panel yesterday. All three said that they wouldn't do it if Amari Cooper had to be part of the deal.
Yes.
I'm assuming the three of us would do it. Would you do it if Amari has to be part of the deal? Or no?
I'm completely indifferent with it. If they traded Amari Cooper or if they didn't, to me, I feel like the rule has always been you trade a guy a year early than a year too late. That's always been what it is.
Yep.
And if he's 30 years old and you paid him to this point, you're not going to pay him next year, then why not?
Yeah.
And for the Niners, you're getting an established guy that runs really good routes, arguably the best route runner in football, and he's very productive. His production is about on par with what you got from him. The only issue that I have with this from a Brown standpoint is I don't know how Brandon Aiyuk will be as a number one. That bothers me because he has Debo, Kittle, and CMC. So he's like,
that's fair.
Exactly. It's a lot of people. Coop has been a number one since he's been here. He has been game plan. He's been double team, triple team. He knows how to defeat it all the time. Coop is the same guy that went in, I can't remember what game it was. They was playing a game. He figured out how he was being double teamed. Him and the quarterback drew it up on the sideline. Yeah, drew it up in the sand on the sideline of what to do. Boom, they hit a big play. So that's a very
fair argument.
My thing is, if you trade for Brandon Aiyuk, does he have that same ability? We don't know because he's never really been in that situation. Don't get me wrong. Debo got hurt last year for 3 games.
He was the number one wide receiver.
Yeah,
Debo
got hurt for 3 or 4 weeks, and I think one of those games he did have 150 yards receiving. So he did. But again, you got CMC and you got Kittle, which you still. If Nick Chubb comes back and you got Njoku, I guess.
Yeah.
It's in the same ballpark.
I mean, but
you can see my concern.
Yes, and Nick Chubb's not a part of the passing game like CMC is.
Right.
I mean, obviously he's a great back.
Yeah, so that to me is my only concern. But as far as, yes, he's younger. Yes, he's one of the best Brandon Aiyuk is younger, and he's a good route runner as well. They both can come in and essentially do the same thing. Coop can go right there and essentially, boom, play right today and be successful. If I'm Coop, I actually want to be a part of the deal. I hate to say that. I hate to say that as a Cleveland Browns fan. If I'm Coop and this opportunity is presented to me, I would be glad to be a part of the deal.
Explain again. You've said it before. Explain again why Cooper fits them so well.
Cooper fits them so well because he runs routes, so it's a timing thing. Kyle Shanahan has this thing. Brock Purdy, everybody's like, oh, he's a system quarterback. Okay, that's fine. Now, if you're a system quarterback, then that means you're depending on your receivers to be all timing. And Coop is obviously one of the best. You can close your eyes, take a 3-step drop, and throw the ball in one spot and know where Coop's going to be because he's going to be there every time at that exact point. Yeah. So I think that if that's perfect for a guy like Brock Purdy, you don't need to improvise. He needs to run his route. He's going to win his route more times than not, and I'm going to get the ball to him as soon as I take my drop, 3-step, 5-step, whatever the case may be. He's going to be there. He's going to be open. So that is perfect for Kyle Shanahan's system. And like I said, if I'm Coop, I'm going to a team that's penciled into the Super Bowl. I'm going with one of the best, if not the best, offensive-minded coach in the game outside of Andy Reid, of course. And on top of that, I won't even be a number one. I'll be a number two because Debo and CMC and Kittle's going to require all this attention that now you're going to actually leave me one-on-one coverage? I ain't going to be the guy that you focused on? Oh, I'm about to eat.
And even when CMC's out for a few plays, Elijah Mitchell's a good back too.
Yeah, I'm about to eat.
And here's the thing, say what you want. I mean, the Niners have a better chance of getting the Super Bowl than the Browns do, if for no other reason that the NFC is not as good.
Yes.
Correct.
So, Jason, would you, if Amari, now I think we'd all rather Amari stay here and see because if you have all three guys, and Jerry Jeudy's your third receiver, wow, now you're talking. It's only 1 year, but okay. But if he has to be part of the deal, are you doing it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you brought up a very valid concern about Aiyuk. Here was my concern coming into today. What's this Browns offense going to look like? What system is he going to be in? Do we really know? And from what I saw, what I've seen of camp, and I was only in Greenbrier for 2 days. I was at camp yesterday. It's a lot of short and quick. Now, after I left Greenbrier, Deshaun started throwing it down the field a little bit more. But if it's all going to, if the majority of the offense is going to be short and quick, that to me is Brandon Aiyuk more than Amari Cooper.
I agree.
He can catch and run, catch in space and go more than what you expect. You're going to get Amari killed if you're asking Amari to do this catch and run. But I think Aiyuk is better suited for that if that's how they're going to operate. So I think I would do it, yes. I'm curious what the pick is going to be. If it is Cooper and a pick, I think it's going to be a lot higher of a pick than people realize because it's
what
only
do you think
1
it's
year.
going to be?
1 or a 2?
You think Cooper and a 2?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to have to give up a 1. Aiyuk is not a superstar. He's very good.
I think other teams can beat the Browns deal.
Right, but
if
I think no.
But if Ayuk's not going to sign there,
That's the thing.
If you're Aiyuk, I mean, why would you go to New England? If you go to New England, you don't care about winning.
Because you get
if they're going to pay you.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a big part of it, too.
You know
I
what?
mean, he's in a, if winning was most important to him,
he would stay where he is.
Well, but the difference is, I'm sure the Browns and Patriots would pay him about, if they're both willing to make the trade, it means they're both willing to pay him relatively the same money. I can't imagine it's much different.
You could probably get more. Because, I mean, you got a lot of people that's already paid for the Cleveland Browns, like at some point.
But the Browns got to know if they're making a trade for him that they got to pay him.
They're going to pay him.
Oh, they're going to. That's what I think that's the next thing. Like, if I read something that said that it's up to Aiyuk, he's got to really work out the deal of what he wants. If one team gives you a better chance to win, the other one gives you more
spending money. I mean, he'll spend it.
He will spend, and Andrew Berry will take risks, man.
Yeah.
He is willing to put it on the table.
Yeah, he's done it.
To me, I would definitely make the trade with Amari Cooper. As much as I don't want to, in the end, and you could even argue that maybe there'll be no significant difference between the two this year. But you can't, if you're not going to be able to trade for Brandon Aiyuk next year. Okay? And if Amari Cooper's gone next year, then what do you got? All you got is Jerry Jeudy. So even though it could be a net equal or even, because you point out we don't know for sure he could be a number one consistently, it might be a slight net negative for just this year. It's possible. I don't think it would be, but I'd still do it because I know that I got a frontline wide receiver for the next 3 years after this. And I may not be able to get that guy, certainly not him specifically, but I may not be able to get that a guy of that caliber, period, where I know Amari Cooper. I mean, first of all, Amari's been had some injuries at the end of last year. He's 30. Aiyuk's 26. He's never missed significant time due to injury. I don't think he's ever missed more than 1 week in a row. I don't think he's ever missed back-to-back games in his career. So go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
One thing to keep in mind here, and this is something we totally missed yesterday, bad job out of us, but when the Browns reworked Cooper's contract a couple of weeks ago, they essentially paid his salary up front. His number in terms of a cap hit if he gets traded for the next team he goes to is like $1.2 million. If they were to trade Amari Cooper, the Browns, they'd eat, and this is according to Zach Jackson, who works at The Athletic with Jason, $29 million in dead money over the next 2 years.
Yeah, who cares?
They can spread it out over a few years. It's not just
But I'm just
2
saying,
years.
that's a big number.
It is.
I know you can spread it out, but a big number for a guy who you already essentially paid his salary for this season.
Well,
which is something to keep in mind when you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
I also think that, to be honest with you, the Cleveland Browns, for the past few years, been a good organization. They've taken care of people. They could have done Nick Chubb completely dirty, but they say, you know what, he's been a solid piece. We're not going to do that. We're going to give you some money. Same thing with Coop. Coop's come in here and done everything you asked. He's been as productive. So it's like, all right, we're going to take care of him. We're going to take care of him to this year.
Right.
We're going to make sure you get some money this year. And if they trade him, like I said, the deal to me made it seem like, all right, we did our part. You can't be mad at us because we're giving you $20-something million no matter what, whether you with us or not.
Right.
But we're not going to pay you past this point. But we can put you in a situation to where you can succeed, you can enjoy. You're 30, so I don't know how many years you got left. So we're going to give you a chance to even go across the way and win a Super Bowl, be productive in one of the best offenses. You'll be a good threat there. Like, it's – to me, I don't see how Coop can be mad about it. Only thing Coop can be mad about is that he said he want to be a Cleveland Brown.
Right.
He wants to retire Cleveland Brown, and they trade him. That's the only thing. But outside of that, when he sits back and look at it like, well, they gave me my money, and they put me in a position to win a Super Bowl ring, which I haven't done. What more do you want?
Would you? I don't even know if this makes any sense, but I'll throw it out anyway. If you, from your perspective, would you rather the Browns trade Cooper and a second round pick, or just a first round pick?
Just a first round pick.
Yeah, that's too big a difference.
Yeah, I would just take a first round pick.
Yeah, or a first round pick and another player who's not Cooper.
But the Niners aren't going to take that deal because they get a one from a team that's much worse than the Browns. It's going to be much higher in the draft.
That's true. So you're giving up more.
Yeah.
Can we trade Jerry Jeudy in the deal?
Well, I thought about.
I don't think he can be traded, can he?
I thought about that coming in too. Actually, as I was driving up here, I thought about that. So remember when they traded for Jerry Jeudy, and I said, you know, it's interesting how the Browns went and got a guy that's from South Florida that went to Alabama that runs good routes. Guess who his mentor is going to be? Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So we know Amari Cooper's been holding out, right? He was holding out. He missed like all of OTAs and he blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, that's crazy that they didn't get no work together. Well, I read a report. Did you report this? Somebody reported that Amari Cooper has been working with Jerry Jeudy all off season.
Oh.
So he done groomed him up.
Okay.
He done told him the game. He done taught him everything. So it's like,
all right,
Amari, we're going to reward you with this paycheck. And if Jeudy knows how to be successful in this offense, thank you very much for your services.
I mean, wouldn't you rather trade Jeudy than Amari Cooper?
But real quick, can you?
I don't know.
I don't know if you could trade for a guy and trade, because in basketball there's certain stipulations, especially when you sign a contract.
I don't think there's any rule about that. I don't know.
Is it similar in football, Jason?
He signed the extension, but he was already under contract for this year.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sort of rule like that with football.
I don't want to say yes or no. I don't
know. I'm just asking.
I don't think.
I mean, it's rare that you see a guy get traded and traded again.
I don't think that there's a rule that would prohibit them from trading him. I don't think.
In the end, I mean, if I have to trade Cooper, I'd do it. I'd like to see what this offense looks like with Cooper and Aiyuk.
I'd be devastated.
Well, then you hoping that they'll take Elijah Moore in second or first.
Yeah, Elijah Moore has no value.
That's the other rumor I've seen on Twitter.
It's going to be Elijah Moore. You'd have to give up a lot. I mean, Elijah Moore's just a toss-in. He doesn't add any value.
I don't see the Niners doing this deal any way that doesn't involve Amari Cooper. If it's the Browns,
that's the thing. And when I see people like throwing that out there, it makes me like, y'all trying to. You're not about to fleece nobody that. Right. Like, this ain't man. Like, why would they do that? I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Why would I?
It doesn't make sense. I'm just looking for something.
We got 2 wide receivers between Amari and Elijah. Both of them contract is up after this year. Why would I not take the one that's more productive? Right. That makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
It's curious to me that of all the teams that have been linked to Aiyuk at this point, the Browns are the only one that are legitimate contenders. Steelers are not. Commanders are not.
Yeah. Patriots are not.
I mean, I guess we've said any team in this division could win the division. Although I'd put the Steelers 4th on that list.
Yeah, but they're a contender to make the playoffs. So I don't think they're a contender to win the Super Bowl.
I don't think anyone's picking the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl.
No.
My only issue with it all is
certainly not the Patriots.
No, they stink.
Is the receiver room that bad?
The Browns?
Yeah.
Watch Amari go down, and then let's talk about that.
But my question is, my thing is, it always ruffles feathers to be like, if I'm a part of that unit, and like we done went all OTAs, we in camp, and all of a sudden, you want to, now you looking to make a trade or receive what you said, we ain't good enough? You ain't like what you see?
That's what we're saying. That's exactly what
we're trying to win a Super Bowl. We need to be as good as possible in an AFC that is loaded. And an AFC North that is loaded.
I guess.
Can I ask one more question?
Please.
They made it very clear in the report from both ESPN and NBC 49ers on NBC Sports.
You're struggling with that, Mike.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it doesn't. NBC Sports San Francisco. The Browns and the Patriots had agreed to some sort of framework. And in the ESPN article, the Browns and the Patriots had discussions at least. Both different outlets mentioned the Steelers, but not to the same level as the Patriots and the Cleveland Browns.
I'm pretty sure I saw something yesterday. I don't remember where it was from, but that said the Steelers were out of the mix.
That was Mike Reese. He said that they just hadn't gotten to the same plane. Is there any chance, and I'm just throwing darts out here, I'm not trying to say this is real. Yeah. It's just like those are specifically coming out to try and get the Steelers to up their price.
Sure.
Of course.
Like Aiyuk secretly has Pittsburgh as his preferred destination, and that's where, if all this is true, that's where he wants to end up, so he's trying to jack up the price.
I don't know why he'd rather go to the Steelers, but I know they've been a much better organization, but they don't have a good quarterback situation.
Especially when the reporting originates out of a 49ers beat writer.
Right.
And I've been used before that way when I was a beat writer with the
Cavs. Or whatever, to get other teams in them. This reporting could be out there just to get other teams involved.
How did you feel when you were used?
I realized it after the fact, and it's not great.
Okay.
It's not great.
I got a miscellaneous question about it all. Do you know who the because I really wasn't paying attention to him a lot last year. Who is the nickel for the Niners?
I can tell you in a sec. Hold on.
Why, you want to bring Greg Newsome into the mix here?
Well, I know that's it. If they ain't gonna pay him, you could flip two dudes. That because if they nickel not good, you can get a productive nickel.
Diamandre
Lenore, he's actually decent. He be playing outside. I think he's pretty decent. I think
He's listed as their nickel with Charvarius Ward, who's very good, and Ambry Thomas as their 2 outside cornerbacks.
When's the last time 2 teams who were trying to make a Super Bowl made a trade on a high-impact player like this?
Yeah, not like
This does not happen very often.
It is weird.
At all. Now, it's different conferences.
I would think.
But still.
Yeah.
The last time I seen.
Well, Stephon Diggs got traded to.
I thought about that.
Yeah,
But was.
To Houston. I mean, that's in the same conference.
I was actually thinking Minnesota to Buffalo.
No, I'm saying Stephon Diggs got traded from Buffalo to Houston.
No, you're right. You're right. I guess that does count.
If you're the Bills, I was surprised at the time.
Yeah.
Because that trade could have pushed the Texans ahead of the Bills in the AFC pecking order.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, the Bills are going to be maybe like, he's such a pain in the ass, he's going to screw things up there.
Yeah. It's still rare. It's very rare.
It is. That was very strange.
Yeah.
Remember when Donovan McNabb got traded to
Washington?
Was
the Redskins good at that time?
I don't remember if they were a contender at the time, but you traded your starting quarterback who'd been an excellent player in the division. Yeah.
That's almost like we don't believe in this guy anymore.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't wrong. It is not like he had a ton of success there. That's crazy.
He did not.
Yeah.
He did not.
That's like Jimmy Graham and who did the Seahawks trade for Jimmy Graham? Wasn't it like a center?
It might have been. It was an offensive lineman. Yeah, I think you're right. And Jimmy Graham just went off the cliff.
I like Jimmy.
Did you play with him?
Yeah, Jimmy paid for my dinner.
Oh,
He paid for my dinner one night, so I got nothing bad to say about Jimmy.
That's all. If I just pay for your dinner one night.
Well, this was like a $600 bill.
You have nothing bad to say.
I mean, have you heard him say anything bad about anybody, really?
Never.
Yeah, you got a point.
He's not like the rest
of
us.
Can you guys name the center who was traded for
Max
Jimmy Graham?
Unger? Is that his name?
Nice job.
Great, Paul Tyvis.
Wow. Good job out of you.
Sports guy.
That guy sounds like the name of one of my great uncles, not a football player. But anyway, Mike, by the way, when I was away in Seattle, I went part of the time I went to go see the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. Mm-hmm. For those who like such things, it was fantastic.
I'm seeing it tonight.
They said it was. I've heard nothing but 10 out of 10 and 9.5 out of 10.
Fantastic. Have you seen the Deadpool movies?
Yes.
They're hilarious.
Yes, they are.
And
people said that they laughed. They
the whole time.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Wolverine movies?
I seen Logan.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's fine. But you don't really need to see the Wolverine movies to watch this. You need to have seen the Deadpool.
I've seen one Deadpool.
I've seen both.
I haven't seen any of the Wolverines. Have they merged before, joined forces before, or is this the first time?
No.
I know nothing.
Well,
don't. I'm seeing it tonight.
Okay.
I got one more IU question, then we'll move on to the stadium talk.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you think we get a conclusion today, yes or no, to an Aiyuk deal? Whether it's Cleveland, New England, Pittsburgh, another team, do we have finality to this saga?
I would say until we see, because what could be happening is ESPN's late to the party on this story. They like to pretend that they weren't behind the scenes, so they could be lying and saying, "Oh, things are just starting," and then they're going to co-opt the story and pretend they've been on top of it the whole time. So I think it'd be further along with ESPN. If it were that close.
I tend to think we're going to have a resolution in the next 24, 48 hours, just the way that it's picking up steam here.
All right.
I think
maybe by tonight?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say tomorrow.
I was going to say tomorrow. Tomorrow while on the air.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That'd be perfect for y'all.
All right there. By the way,
on the air.
I got a text over the weekend from my physical therapist who I'm friends with. Shout out Dr. D. Filippo. Go to him. I can't. He got bought. He was an independent company. Got bought out by. I can't remember the name of the place. I'll have to mention it another time. But anyway, he texted me on the weekend. He goes, "I think I just saw Mikey McNuggets at the Lakewood Truck Park."
Park.
Lakewood Truck Park.
What is the truck
Great
park?
place. It's a great place.
They have one in Beechwood
I've never
too.
heard
I
of
saw
it.
it yesterday because I had to go out to Beechwood for something.
What is a truck park?
It's where they
bring
got
your
food
truck
trucks.
and-
It's a
food
bar
truck.
and food
Oh,
trucks.
all right.
It's right across the street from the YMCA in Lakewood. Have you been there?
McNuggets is so popular, it don't make no sense.
Anyway, so you got recognized, Mike. I texted you over the weekend.
I did. Tell your Physical therapist said it's up next time. All right, we got to get to the stadium update because this is potentially the end of another saga. But before we do that, our talk about the stadium is brought to us by our sponsor, BetterHelp. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get something off our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get to you, and it's important to let that out, especially to someone who is unbiased in your life. So today, I want to tell you how I really feel about the stadium saga, and you might even be thinking the same thing. I just wanted to end the back and forth, the public positioning, the taking shots at the opposition. It drains you, and we got to be in a better mindset. So if that's been on your mind as well, therapy can certainly help. And therapy is different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems in our lives than our favorite sports teams, and it's important to get those things off your chest every once in a while. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible and suited to your schedule. Just visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon.
Mike, we have breaking news right now. The teams, I shouldn't have done that because there is actually a real story. The teams are set for the WKYC softball game.
Yeah, we'll get to that later because we have.
Come on!
We got a $3.6 billion stadium, and BetterHelp pays for this segment. So
Fair enough. We'll get to it later. Go ahead. We don't want to
so
piss
this
off
also
BetterHelp.
came out very, very late last night. But the Northeast Ohio Transit Blog, which to their credit has been over a lot of the stadium news, sagas, developments.
Jason, do you know any who runs this or what? Because they've been right a lot.
Yeah, they've got. Yeah, I don't know
legit,
personally.
Right?
Yeah, on stuff
because
like
they've
this.
Been mostly right with what they've reported. Okay, so you buy them as legit.
I think they're credible.
Okay, go ahead.
They put this out late last night that a $3.6 billion, that's B with a $1 billion stadium and development, is happening and will be revealed in the coming weeks. It'll be built on the Brook Park property that they were the first to report that Haslam's bought a few months ago. In their article, they mention that an estimated $2.2
What'd be funny is, and very Jimmy D. Haslam is, on that day, they announced this right here, like, this is our plans, and then telling them that's his answer right there. That'd be funny to me, and I can see it happening.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, every time I have this conversation, I always take, I'm excited about this, Jason. I don't know how you feel, but I'm excited. But I obviously there's some fallout for businesses and other things in the city. In the end, as popular as the Browns are, it would be a lot worse if the Cavs or the Guardians were moving out of the city.
Yeah.
Because that's way more dates at their arena/stadium. Whereas the Browns, it's only, including the preseason.
11, 10?
10 games, including the preseason, maybe some playoffs.
Throw a playoff game in or two.
Having many of those.
Two. Imagine having 2 playoff games.
That'd be the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed.
Ooh, speaking into existence.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but I hear about this retractable roof. It sounds pretty exciting.
Ain't
it? Well, actually, I don't know that it's retractable.
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, it's not going to be retractable?
No.
Every new stadium's had a retractable roof. No.
It's a straight dome. It's not going to be retractable.
So it's like, this is like Mercedes.
That's even more money.
So this is like,
if you're going all the way,
New Orleans Saints dome, or is the Colts? No, Colts open.
When was the last time a new football stadium was built that wasn't a retractable dome?
Minnesota's not.
Oh, it's not?
I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
I think they're called open air domes because they have some sort of like airflow through it, but it's not retractable.
That's crazy. I done played in that dome like 3 times, and I can't remember if it's open. I don't think it is open.
Minnesota?
Which one?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it is. It's all glass.
It's all glass.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So probably not a retractable roof.
No, it's definitely not.
What about Atlanta Falcons?
It is. It's like it opens like a flower petal. It's wild.
I've never been to
But they never open it. Like rarely is it open.
The Colts open theirs.
A lot of them are.
I've been to the Colts.
All right. Well, I've got us bogged down on that. Forget that.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's happening, though.
Are you going to go to a Browns game if it's a dome?
I'm more likely to go.
So now you're not likely.
Although, to be fair, when I would go, I was only sitting in the press box anyway, so it didn't really matter that it was cold. But
what? What are you looking at me for?
I just said nothing.
Are you happy that there's going to be a dome?
I'm conflicted. I've been team dome all along. I've wanted a dome, but I do worry about, number one, the price. People have no idea how expensive these seats are going to be to get in there. It's going to be outrageous.
Yeah, it's already outrageous.
They're
going to be more.
They're going to price out fans who've had tickets for 30 years.
Yep.
They're not going to be able to go. They're not going to be able to afford the season tickets. They're not going to be able to afford the PSLs. Like, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little queasy of the fact that they're not putting it before the people and letting the people vote. But they know it would not pass, which is why they're not going to put it before the people. Like, all these stadium referendums are getting shot down across the country. They're not passing. And this one would not pass. And so I told Mike before the show, I think I told you I think it was Mike, that I had been focused on the Minnesota deal and how they got the Minnesota deal passed. And we talked about it with like with the pull tabs and the fact that it's today, right? Marijuana is available today.
Recreational use. You can go to the store and buy it. Yep.
And they hadn't been able to figure out sort of the tax structure around that. And I think at one point the Browns were sort of looking at marijuana taxes in terms of like, how do we get this involved in like sports types of facilities? And I think I may have been looking at the wrong model, because I think it's for Jimmy Haslam to stand up there and say, we don't have to put this on the ballot. It's like, wow, that's bold to stand up there and on the record say we don't have to put it on the ballot. Well, Buffalo didn't either. Buffalo didn't put anything on the ballot. Buffalo just said, we're going to do this. What are you going to do about it? And
well, the taxpayer, the poor and middle class always get screwed in these situations.
And Buffalo did it by, I was talking to Tim Graham, who's actually from Ohio. Tim's one of our phenomenal writers in Buffalo who followed the stadium deal very closely in Buffalo. And there was like $450-ish million from the Seneca tribes that was owed to the state of New York. And so they used some of that money, or I think all of that money, or quite a bit of that money went into the stadium deal. But we don't have that here. So where are you going to come up with that $500-600 million? I think they're going to issue a lot of bonds for it. I think the state's going to be very highly involved in this in terms of the funding. And that's where, like, I think the Browns are going to open themselves up to a lot of pushback on this. But ultimately, like, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do? And Mike DeWine's in his last term as governor. He's on his way out. What's he care? You know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't care. And DeWine was in town. DeWine met with Jimmy Haslam and Roger Goodell at the end of last season. They had a big powwow toward the end of the season. And I'm sure that this came up. Of course this came up. And so, like, I just think that it's a dangerous game to play. And I've talked to people who were at the ground level of Gateway, who were involved in the Gateway project, who felt like you really need to put this before the people and let them vote on it. But that's not going to happen here. They're just going to ram this through. And if you go back and look at the Buffalo thing, there's a group of people who have taken this before the U.S. Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear the case of basically misuse of public funds. Now, the Buffalo Stadium is already well under construction, but there is no, that I know of, there's no timetable for the U.S. Supreme Court to hear this case. But if the U.S. Supreme Court agrees to hear this case, if they rule in favor of the people, I don't know what that's going to do for the stadium of Buffalo.
They won't.
I don't know.
Look at what's going on.
I think it's a Hail Mary. Like, they've tried it at the New York State court level and they've been shot down, but the U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear it. I would say it's probably more likely than not that they would not rule in their favor, but if they did rule in their favor, it could have a long-lasting impact of how future stadiums are built using public funds. So it's just something. Just put a note in it. Know that it's out there. And
billionaires
keep it on the board.
always get what they want. The
question.
NFL lost a court case just recently, and then it got overturned 2 seconds later.
So
the billionaires never lose. They're going to get whatever they want. They always do.
If they did do Buffalo's route, who makes the profit from the stadium?
Jimmy.
Well, the state would own the stadium.
There's no way. There's no way.
The state would own the stadium.
Okay.
And they would issue bonds that would be paid back over 30 years or whatever it is. And Jimmy would put up a fair amount of his own money, but he's not going to pay for the whole thing. Like, I asked him at the Greenbrier, why not just pay for it yourself? And he said they feel like the public-private route is best. Of course he does. And it's just, so when I was talking to Tim today, it was interesting because, like, the thing that's sort of like a slippery slope for me, look at how many venues there are in Ohio. Like, you got Brown Stadium, Progressive Field, and Rocket Mortgage just here. Then you've got Ohio Stadium in Columbus. You've got the Cincinnati stadiums. The Bengals are looking for renovation.
Yeah.
So if you do this for one, you've got all these other ones, not to mention University of Akron, Kent State, Toledo.
Well,
all of the Division One.
Yeah, those aren't producing the money that's.
But it doesn't. Doesn't matter.
If anything gets done first, it needs to be Columbus, Ohio State Stadium. We need to.
Well, let's
nip this in the bud right now.
I guarantee you,
the Ohio State
if they hand out hundreds of millions of dollars to Cleveland for the stadium, everybody else is going to be knocking in Columbus saying, "What about us? We're next." And so I just think it's a dangerous game. I'm not saying that it's not going to work. I just think that there's some landmines to navigate through on this. But what did we say in the beginning, in the very beginning of this? If they figure out the funding, they are going to Brook Park.
Yeah, we knew
that has always been the number one option. Yeah. It's a lot of money that they have to figure out. And if they can figure out how the county, state, and city can come together to fund this, to fund their portion of this, this is happening. It was always clear that that was the plan. Right. If they could figure the funding, they were going to go to Brook Park.
And that's what's happening. Obviously, as you just went through, and it was a great breakdown of everything, it's a lot to think about. It's extremely complicated. There's no easy solution to this situation. There's going to be some people that feel screwed, whether it's the fans. You're right. Every time you build a new stadium, fans get screwed.
Yeah.
Or the fans that are on the lower end tickets, because they'll be priced out of the stadium. Nobody cares. The ownership, the league, the state, they don't care about those people.
And the one interesting point I failed to make, I was talking to Tim this morning about it, and the point Tim made was like, it was a unique situation in Buffalo where the state got involved. The mayor is from Buffalo, the governor of New York is from Buffalo, which is highly unusual. Most of the time they come from, New York City or that area. And she was very adamant about keeping the Bills there. And there's not a ton of, you would think it's the state of New York, they've got all these facilities, but they really don't, because
Giants and Jets play in New Jersey.
Giants and Jets are in New Jersey. Dolan owns the Garden.
Right.
The Yankees own the stadium.
Right.
The Mets own quite a bit of so it's really not that many venues in the state of New York, as many as you would think. There's far more in Ohio.
Right.
Far more than what they have in New York. So I just think we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
There's a lot more money in New York.
Well, for sure.
So all you saying is if the Browns get this stadium, taxpayers' dollars is going to go through the roof.
I want to see how they.
Everybody else is going to have to pay. Everybody else is going to need a new stadium.
I want to see how they fund this, especially at the state level. I want to see what they come up with on how they're going to pay for this.
I told you how. Gambling and marijuana.
Well, that was the Minnesota. Minnesota was the pull tabs. And it was wildly successful.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I kept focusing on that, but I think that was a ballot issue.
Right.
That was put on the ballot. And I mean, the Browns just told you. They flat out said, we don't think we need to put this on the ballot. So we'll see. Buckle up. And again, I would just keep one eye on what's going on at the Supreme Court with Buffalo. Just keep an eye on it, because
I just don't.
It may or may not have an effect in the future on how public funds can be used on stadiums with or without public approval.
Public funds have been used on Supreme Court judges recently. And I don't think they're going to rule against.
But it is obviously it's a very conservative court, obviously, right now, and that may lean toward less government interference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at the detriment to all of us.
I'm not. I don't want to make this political.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm trying to
Well, that favors the billionaire. No, conservatism favors the rich.
Well, but I think in misuse of public funds, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know which side it favors. I think you can make a case either way.
All right, Mike. It was a great breakdown from Jason on that.
Yeah, last question on the stadium, then we'll move on and talk a little preseason game 1.
Can't wait.
This was always the outcome we were headed for, right?
Yeah,
like as Jason mentioned, if they got the funding, did you guys ever think there was a realistic chance that the Haslams were going to truly consider?
For about 20 minutes when we were on the air and the Justin Bibb deal came out, I thought, wow, this just got really interesting.
Yeah.
But
if he would have said that, if Bibbs would have came out with that 6 months ago,
I don't think it would have mattered.
I do.
I think the Haslams have had their eye on a dome since the day they bought the team.
Exactly.
I think that, like I said, he said something about it's time for Cleveland to look like one of the better cities and have better facilities and all of those things and be top in the league. And when he said that, I said,
except it's not in Cleveland.
He getting the dome.
Nothing. Yeah. Well. All right, Mike.
We got big numbers today. Big show. Brown
Yeah.
season's back. It feels like it. If you're new to the UCSS world, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends to hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. It helps YouTube make sure UCSS gets out to everyone who's searching for Browns content on the internet. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for watching. And make sure that like button and the subscribe button. It costs you $0, 0 cents, and does wonders for us on the back end to make UCSS the best product possible.
Do you think any of our listeners know what that means? Does wonders for us on the back end? I mean, they might think it's something sexual.
Whoa.
I think you're the only person in America
Yeah.
who took that as
What's
sexual.
wrong with you?
What's with all the
Go ahead.
hostility between the Lions and Giants? They got like 5
Training
fights.
camp. It's
They were like
like
beating the crap out of
They
them.
beat the hell out of each other on day one.
I just seen that
And where were the
Malik
Lions
Neighbors just got it in with somebody. I was like,
where were
dude.
the Lions teammates when Amon-Ra St. Brown was getting his ass kicked by the entire Giant roster?
They were there. They were there.
they?
Yeah, because
Like
I
they was
saw.
going in.
That's
Nah,
always a training camp fight is funny. I will never forget when Jimmy Ward
Yeah.
beat up DeAndre Hopkins. It was hilarious. I was sitting there.
Well, you got to tell the story now before we talk
Oh,
about the
so we
preseason opener.
So we went. I was in San Francisco. So what happened was Sherm was coming off of his Achilles. So we had just got Sherm that off season. So he was still rehabbing for his Achilles. And D-Hop found out that Sherm wasn't practicing. This is hilarious. Found out that Sherm wasn't practicing. So D-Hop came up to Kyle Shanahan, was like, is there any way you could get him to give a couple reps? Like, I need some work. And Kyle was like, no, Sherm shut down. We not doing that. So before we start practice, the coaches bring both teams together and they say, we're not having any fights here today. We're just getting good work. Any fights, you're done. You're done for the day.
Yeah.
So everybody agreed.
Jimmy Ward was offended, of course.
So we go. Jimmy at this time, Jimmy had always played safety, but for this year he was transitioning the corner. So he went up against Hop. I think it might have been the very first one-on-one rep. And D-Hop ran like a glance. He ran like a 5-yard glance, meaning he ran like a hitch. And they threw him the ball. He catch the ball. Jimmy goes for it. He goes for it. Hop catches it. And Jimmy like smack his hand or whatever, but he catches the ball. And Hop like boom and pushes Jimmy in the face.
Yeah.
And Jimmy just with the left hand, boom, boom. They get to fighting and his helmet came off. So Jimmy hitting him just straight lefts. So everybody got to attack the thing. And the funniest part is the video is online. The funniest part is Sherm is standing behind all this. He sees the fight happen.
Yeah.
He takes his helmet, puts it on, then runs in there. I said, that is the smartest man alive right there. So it was hilarious. Those two both got ejected. But I think D-Hop did it because he didn't want to practice that day. Because he was like,
Sherm's not there.
Yeah, Sherm wasn't working, so he was like, I don't really want to practice today. And I think that's why he did it.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, so the Browns and the Packers are set to meet on Saturday in the preseason opener. And Kevin Stefanski is going to address the media later today. And we expect to get, whether it's today or tomorrow, some clarity on who will and who won't play in the preseason opener for the Browns. I think we would all be very surprised if Deshaun Watson is in uniform for the Browns, especially in this first preseason game, even though Matt LaFleur did say Jordan Love's going to play on Saturday against Cleveland. He will play a series or two.
Right.
I'm curious if you guys think, I know G. Bush has said in the past he wants Deshaun to get at least a series or two to knock the rust off.
No, he
you
did.
Think yes, he did.
I thought G. Bush was in favor of he wouldn't let him play at all.
No, G. Bush said he wanted to get some reps in beforehand.
Oh, okay. He must have changed because he was talking.
So do you think Deshaun should play?
Well, let me
not will, but should.
Before we answer that, Mike, Tyvus, do you think playing a series or two knocks the rust off?
I mean, it just gets you back in the flow of things.
He's got a lot of rust, right? I mean, he's played if you think about this, he is in the last 3 years, out of a possible 51 regular season games, he's played 11. That's about 20%.
I mean, I think it's good for him to take a series or two.
So you would play?
I would put him in there for a series or two. I memean, when they first acquired him and the suspension was going out, he played 2 series against what was it, Jacksonville or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't, and you only get 3 of them. I know that you probably gonna play them a lot in the third preseason game because that's what everybody transitioned to. But this is good work. If they gonna play if their starters is out there, if Green Bay starters is out there, I absolutely will put them out there so you can go up against them once. Listen, you get tired of going against your own team. The only saving grace for him not going out there is that they play the Vikings in a joint practice next week, so he gonna get all his game reps next week against them in practice.
Well,
and all
there's
those
no
things.
threat of getting hit.
But that's the only thing. But
that's why I would not play him in week 1. I'd wait till Minnesota. I think he should play in the preseason at some point. I'm not convinced he's going to.
He better play week 3. I don't know what you talking about.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not convinced he's playing in any. As of today, the plan, I don't think that they're convinced he's going to play in any preseason games. They very well may wait till Dallas to roll him out. Now, that could change based on what happens in the joint practice.
I'm about to say that he better go out in that joint practice and look like Tom bleeping Brady out there.
Well, and there's a lot more to it than just play your starting quarterback. If you play your quarterback, you got to play your offensive line.
Everybody, except for the running back.
You got to play, and that's what. I mean, Nick Harris lost his starting job because they played Deshaun Watson against Jacksonville. Which, by the way, I thought that they should play him at some point in that preseason because you got to take a look. And the unfortunate consequence of that is Nick Harris gets hurt.
Right.
And now not only is he lost that season, he lost his starting job, and he's no longer in Cleveland.
I wonder.
Nick Harris ain't with us no more?
Nope. No, he's gone. You always have this balance in the preseason of getting ready for the year, so getting the work, versus the risk of injury.
Yeah.
And different teams look at it differently.
Yes. And I don't know that necessarily there's a right or a wrong answer. There's just certain guys have certain philosophies on it.
I think it comes down to you just got to trust game 1. You got a big game 1, and you got to make sure that your players is ready for that game.
Yeah.
And yes.
And that's a good, as you said, it's a tough task.
Does offenses always start slowing the NFL? Yeah, because everybody's trying to ramp up. Everybody's trying to figure out that preseason thing. But last year, we played all our starters in the last one against Kansas City, and they ended up playing Cincinnati week 1. Now, it was a rain game, but they look much better. So I think that I don't see why you wouldn't stick with that same philosophy. You know, you experienced some success and had a successful season with that philosophy. Why would you go away from it? So
and the Browns' third preseason game is at Seattle at 10 o'clock Eastern start, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're not happy about that.
No, that's ridiculous.
Them. I'm not happy about it. Post game at 1 in the morning. That's crazy.
For a preseason game.
Yeah.
1 in the morning. It'll
nutty.
be 1:30 in the morning, probably.
Goodness.
So I mean, I would not want to play. I don't think Deshaun will play against Green Bay. I don't think he should play against Green Bay. I'm not sure he's going to play against Minnesota.
I don't think because because the work is going to happen during the week, so the game is nothing.
Right.
So you
it's
think
the
he's just gonna play the
third.
Seattle
The third game is the one. Because if you don't play them, if you don't play your starters in the third week, the third preseason game, now you get that. I mean, they ain't gonna play the third. They get off the fourth, and then game 1 they got to be ready to go. Like that's a lot.
Right.
That's a long rest time in between.
So you would. My stance is I would absolutely play him at some point in this preseason, but not in week 1. That's my official stance.
Why? Why not in week 1?
Too early.
You think the arm wasn't? You don't think the arm ready?
Why
for
is
early?
it not too early for these other guys?
But we not. It's not like they go. First of all, once he plays, it's not like they're going out there and say, you know what, throw it 90 yards deep. Like that's not going to be the case. It's going to be the most vanilla offense because they don't want to show what they're doing. Especially now that Ken Dorsey and Tommy Reese and all these people coming there, they want to put none of that on tape.
Correct.
So it's going to be all the short stuff that you seen, slants, hitches, and stuff like that. So it's not like I don't see the risk. The only risk is that he might get sacked. But if he's doing quick game, the ball should be out of his hand anyways.
So you're playing him not at all first week, not at all second week, and then how much in the third week?
2 or 3 possessions.
I would play him 1 series in the first week. I would not play him at all in the second week because you have him in the joint practices, and then I play him at least 3 possessions in the third game. I understand there's always. Nobody understands better than you, Tyvis, that there's always a risk of injury when you step on the football field, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
But if they're that scared that Deshaun Watson is going to get hurt every time he touches the field, then he's not going to make it through the season anyway. So,
what if it's up to him?
Well, then, okay.
It was up to him. If he wanted
What if they let him decide?
Oh, he going to go out there then. That's just the type of person he is.
Isn't this the first year, by the way, that they're allowed to play with those funky helmet things?
It is.
They actually going to play in the game with that?
They can.
You're
I'm
allowed
sure.
to if you want.
Or you think any players will do it?
No.
The offensive line should.
See, it's crazy.
Now, I'll tell you what,
players care more about how they look than
you gonna get.
safe.
You definitely. It's a stigma around it.
How tough you are.
It's like that's like wearing a cup. Like, why would I do that? I'm not doing
Nobody
that.
wears a cup football.
What?
Okay, I don't know. I'm not. I didn't play.
Have you ever seen Gridiron Gang?
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
Cups.
I feel like if you're an offensive lineman, you can only wear it if the rest of the offensive linemen are wearing it. Like if they all wear it together, then it's fine.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
If I play the offensive line,
But at corner, you know what corner's wearing.
guard is doing it, or the D line is doing it, yeah, I would do it then.
Yeah.
But I'm not at safety or corner. Never, never.
Just like all the offensive linemen at Ohio State, they all wear those knee braces.
I know.
That's so weird. What's with that? I know. So strange.
Trying
to
forced on them?
Yeah, it
think it
is.
makes any difference?
Yes, it is.
Do you think it makes any difference in this decision for Stefanski that Jordan Love's playing, or is that completely?
I shouldn't.
Totally
I don't
separate?
think he cares.
He don't care.
That's stupid if it is.
he don't
I don't
care.
think he's going to be fact. But I think it's interesting that Jordan Love is playing. Every team has a different. Patrick Mahomes usually plays in the preseason. If he's going to play anybody, I mean,
Didn't he play in all 3 games last year?
I think he did. I don't know for sure, but it sounds right to me.
Like I say,
If he's going to play, then maybe that's the right philosophy because everything they do seems to work.
if they feel like Deshaun shoulder need a rest or something, all right, fine, give him a couple of weeks. But at that 3rd preseason game, he got to take at least 2 series for me.
If his shoulder still needs a rest now, it's going to be a problem.
I agree with you.
You know, I mean, if he's not 100% now, then that's going to be a factor into the season. All right, Mike.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we got one more Browns topic to get to before we pivot over to a little Guardians. But a quick reminder that today's show is brought to us by FanDuel. You guys know I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop.
Never.
But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games, and the sports just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app, dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. On Monday,
Yes.
Ken Dorsey and Jim Schwartz spoke to the media for the first time since earlier this preseason. Jason, I know you were there for the Ken Dorsey portion of it. Jim Schwartz said, what do you guys want me to be very vague and not specific about? So
I was there for that too.
nothing from that part of the media interaction from Jim Schwartz was all that interesting. But I thought Ken Dorsey had a couple interesting tidbits from his back and forth with the media, mainly about the situation around Deshaun, how he's progressing, and the decision for Kevin Stefanski to hold on to his play calling duties. So one of the questions he was asked was, what's your game day role look like, and how do you kind of feel about not calling plays on game day? And this was his answer, and I'm going to read it to you. Then, Jason, I want to know what your main takeaway from it was. But he essentially said in response to, what's your new game day role, how do you feel about not calling plays on Sundays, with this, quote, I think, it's a new role for me, to be perfectly honest. To be the coordinator with the head coach calling it, I've always worked for defensive guys, so there will be some feeling out process kind of as we go, but it allows me to definitely be involved as humanly possible with the game planning and putting the plan together for us, and at the same time also really be able to focus on our quarterback room and being prepared for meetings and being prepared for when they step out on the field in practice and on game day. Jason, you were there. What did you kind of take away from the back and forth with Ken Dorsey on how he feels about Deshaun and more specifically the play calling situation?
Well, there were a few questions about the play calling, and I texted Mike, was like, Ken sounds like a guy who's trying to navigate this without really giving away a whole lot, but he sounded to me like a guy who felt like he was going to be calling the plays. And again, when
we all thought he was.
Everybody,
Yeah.
and when he first got here, all of sort of the information around it was that he was probably going to be the play caller. Obviously, Kevin pivoted on that. I'm glad he pivoted. I think Kevin should be the play caller. He's earned it. 2-time coach of the year. He's done a pretty good job calling plays. Are there some you would like to have back? Sure, of course. Every play caller would. I know Alex Van Pelt came here in 2020 believing he was going to be the play caller and then wasn't, and it was Kevin. And I think Kevin's earned it to keep the job as long as he wants it. So I don't want to make this more than what it is, but it was kind of funny to me that I think, Dorsey came here probably thinking there was a pretty good chance he was going to be the play caller, and now it is going to be an adjustment for him. And there was the talk about is he going to be up in the booth or is he going to be down on the field? AVP was down on the field. It sounds like they're going to try that with Ken. Obviously, when you're the play caller, you're up in the booth. But I think that they like having that extra set of eyes on the field.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of communication that I saw between AVP and Kevin during games. AVP, Kevin, and the quarterback. AVP and the quarterback sitting on the bench looking over some of the videos and photos that they get in real time of this is what's going on out there. So I think Ken could eventually be in the booth, but it sounds like they're going to at least start with him on the field.
That's interesting.
And it seems to me like the OC is usually in the booth.
They always are.
Yeah, but AVP was on the field.
Was he?
Oh yeah.
That's
AVP
interesting.
was on the field.
Dorsey was in the booth in Buffalo, and we know that from that infamous video of him destroying the iPad when something didn't go his way.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the offensive guy that's in the booth?
Well, I don't know who it'll be this year. I don't know.
Who was it last year?
I don't remember.
Because Stump was down.
Callahan
Stump
was
was
on
down.
the field, right?
Well, what the heck? I don't like that. I would think that it would be better to shoot. You need somebody to see the bird's eye view, because they can see.
Chad O'Shea, maybe? Was he in the booth?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'm drawing a blank.
What do you think
You know,
about
I tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday who in the booth, because halftime they all gotta come sprinting out. I'm gonna watch and see. Okay,
Yep.
that's who. All right, there we go. So I tell you on Tuesday.
Oh,
Tommy Reese?
I know who is. It was last year he was in Arizona. Who's the Arizona's OC?
Petzig.
Thank you, Drew
quarterback
Petzing.
coach.
He was the quarterback's coach. But last year AVP was the quarterback's coach.
Who is the quarterback's coach right now?
Ken Dorsey.
Yeah,
Dorsey.
yeah, it was AVP.
So he's going to be sitting with Watson and
yeah. But
Which is fine. I mean, that's fine from a standpoint
Yeah.
to you get that immediate coaching. You get that guy that once he comes off the field, you grab him, y'all sit on
Right.
the bench and y'all can look at it. And Kevin can still keep his eyes on everything else.
That's right.
Like I can
Yeah.
still focus on the defense and still be a head coach.
Yeah.
So from that aspect of it, yes, that's perfect. But I just you got to see. Like the bird's eye view, you see literally
Right.
everything.
Yeah, there'll be
And
somebody
you got to
out there.
have somebody, usually it's the play caller because
Yeah.
he's like, oh, okay, this safety bit on that. All right, let me write that down. Next time we
Yeah.
come to this safety playing it like that. Boom,
But
boom,
when
boom.
the head coach is the play caller, which is the case
often
now.
But he still would be able to say, hey, on that last time we ran this play, that safety bit hard
Yeah.
on this, so we're going to come back
Yeah.
to that later in this game.
I
'cause
know.
seen
I know
it.
with the Bengals, Zach Taylor's the play caller, and his OC, what's his name? Callahan
It's in the box?
was in the box last year. Yes.
usually the OC's in the box.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this,
It is interesting.
we'll see. It is,
Right.
it's never.
What do you think about Ken Dorsey's reaction? Do you think he's pissed?
I mean, I think he's uncomfortable.
Sure.
He's been
It's
comfortable.
new-
It's new to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to feel because all his life he's always been in the booth calling the plays. Now you're telling me I'm about to sit here, game plan with you all week, get the quarterbacks ready to go in the game, and then
Then I don't get a final say.
then all I can do is make a suggestion to
Right,
you.
right.
And
I
that's
do
it.
think there's this stupid misconception that if the offensive coordinator is not calling plays, he has nothing to do with anything.
No,
I
because
think
he's a
that's been something that people have spread for the last. Oh, Alex Van Pelt, doesn't matter that he's gone. He's not involved in the offense. Yes, he is.
Again, it's Monday through Saturday.
That's
Right.
what
Right.
we done said that a million times.
I
Like,
know, but some people can't get it
people
through their
think
heads,
that
yeah.
Kevin literally comes up with the play sheet by himself and
Yeah.
nobody says anything.
Sits in a locked
Yeah,
office.
it's like, don't bother me. I'm working. No, everybody come. They have offensive staff meetings, and they say, what do you got for these situations? What is our best thing? What is Deshaun comfortable with? They'll come to Deshaun during the week and say, what are
Yeah.
you comfortable with? They'll go to Amari Cooper, Brandon Aiyuk, whoever the heck the wide receiver is.
Yeah.
What plays that we ran this week that you want
Right.
in the game plan? And
Right.
the receiver will say, I really like this against that. All right, boom, we'll put it in the game plan. Then by Friday, Saturday, they'll do their meetings again and say, all right, let's put together our final game plan, what we're
Yeah.
going to do on certain situations. They're going to come up with each game plan scenario. These are the 5 or 6 plays that we like in this scenario. Boom, that's the play sheet. Kevin, you got
Yeah.
the play calls.
Tyvus, did you play for a defensive head coach?
Let me go through it.
Yeah.
Seattle, Pete, no.
No.
San Fran? No. Where'd I go after that? The Jets. Who was the Jets? He got fired. What's the dude? Todd Bowles.
Okay.
Todd Bowles was.
So with Todd Bowles, okay, he's the head. Was he calling the defensive plays?
Yeah.
And who was the defensive? Was there a defensive coordinator?
Had to be.
What? Who was the DC?
What year was this, Tyvis?
18?
Well, or even with the maybe you know this
18
from the obvious. Let me ask you this. So obviously Kyle Shanahan's the play caller in San Francisco.
Yes.
Who was his OC while you were there?
Mike McDaniel.
Okay, Mike McDaniel. As far as you know, was during the game, was Mike McDaniel ever in Shanahan's ear saying, "Hey, I think we should run this play"?
Yeah.
So that's probably
it's open communication. The whole
But
time.
again,
yeah.
AVP and Kevin were standing right next to each other.
Right.
Right next to each other.
Well, either way, whether it's on the headsets or whether it's next to each other.
Yeah, obviously there's communication going on.
I wasn't bringing that up from it's a problem that he's not in the booth. I was bringing that up for he still has some say in the offense.
And
Kevin Stefanski seems to me, you know him better than I do, but he has always seemed to me a guy who checks his ego at the door. And he's willing to work. He's not going to dismiss Ken Dorsey's thought because it wasn't his.
One of the biggest misconceptions of Kevin is he's some control freak egomaniac.
No, he's not. He's not at all.
He's not at all.
The few conversations that I've had with Kevin, he's very open to listening to what you got to say.
And I think that's great because that shows me he believes it. He's confident. If you're a control freak, to me, it's a lack of it's a lack of confidence.
I think they've got the Bill Callahan loss is a big loss.
Yeah, sure,
that's a huge loss.
But I think they have a fantastic coaching staff. Fantastic.
You know who I like the most? Mike Vrabel. Go Bucks.
Well,
but he's not part of game day.
But I just
but he's doing a good job. Look, there you go. Look at that.
I think it's a testament to Kevin that you have all these guys, really good
100%.
guys who want to work for you. From Schwartz on the defensive side, Dorsey, whatever, on the offensive side. Vrabel coming in. Tommy Reese was a big get. That was a really big get for them.
He was like one of the best OCs in college football.
So they have a really good staff, and I think that's a reflection on the head coach and guys who want to come work for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we first saw the way Hugh Jackson was. We saw it on Hard Knocks.
Oh, my God.
Like, that showed you how.
Don't do that.
He really was, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word again.
There's a lot.
A lack of confidence.
There's a lot that describes you.
What's the word
one.
I'm looking for?
Insecure?
Insecure, thank you. Couldn't think of that word. You could tell he was insecure. Kevin Stefanski is not insecure.
Not at all.
Not at all. You're a great coach. You can help me. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yep.
So that's a great attitude to have. I think this organization, who knows what's going to happen this year. The Browns could legitimately finish first. They could legitimately finish last. To think they couldn't possibly finish last is ridiculous. But the organization, health-wise, has never been better.
I totally agree.
In the 99 era.
From the GM to the coaching staff, it's the best.
And as much of a putz at times as Jimmy Haslam is, he's better now than he was.
He's learned a lot of lessons.
Yes.
I do believe that.
And he spends money like it's water, which you want from your owner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's learned a lot. He still would not be the number one owner I would want for my team.
No, but he's no longer 32.
No, he's not. I think they've learned some very valuable, very hard lessons on how to go about doing this. And I do believe that from the GM down, this is the best this organization has been since '99.
No doubt.
It's not even close.
Not even close.
They finally got it right.
Yes.
I was glad to see the extensions. Keep this in place and get out of their way and let them do their
And it
jobs.
feels like for the first time, like you might have this combo together for a decade.
That'd be great.
Things could change in a hurry, so you never know, but it feels like it's trending in that direction.
Well, it's going to come heavily now on draft picks.
Well, now they've got to get it right because they have finally got a lot of players that are good. They're going. Yes, once you're up near the top of the salary cap, then you have to start hitting on your picks. You can't blow it. We'll see. And the draft has been the one thing with this regime that's been hit or miss. It's not been great. It's not been terrible.
It seems like the high draft picks haven't hit, but the mid to late have been good, which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. They haven't had that. They haven't had any first round picks though. In a while.
That's
so.
true.
Go ahead, Mike.
Let's talk a little Guardians, guys.
Yep.
We'll come back to the Browns at the end of the show, talk about some of the facility upgrades and what that means for the players. The pictures and videos looked incredible from Berea, so we'll talk about that. But the Guardians had a game last night, and we got to talk to you about the Guardians because BetterHelp is sponsoring today's baseball segment of the day. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get some things off our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get to you, and it's important to let that out, especially to someone who's unbiased in your life. So today I want to tell you guys how I feel about the Guardians' current 3-game losing streak. It's really bumming me out, putting me in a bad mood because this team has such potential, and the last 3 games just haven't put it all together, and that is an unfortunate result and circumstance of a 162-game baseball season. Therapy can be different for everyone. Most of us have bigger problems in our lives than our favorite sports team, and it's important to get those things off your chest every once in a while. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible, and suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOn to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn. Bull, Guardians lost in extras yesterday. Logan Allen, rough first inning, but rebounded nicely afterwards. He used his bullpen a little differently, too.
It was a weird game because Logan Allen I didn't think he was going to get past the second inning.
I didn't think he was going to make it out to first.
Yeah, he gave a back-to-back home runs. The only reason they got out of that inning is because they got a double play.
Yeah.
He was a disaster. Walked like two guys in that first inning, gave him the 2 home runs. And then after that, and I made a snide remark to our group chat. I was like, oh, nice start for Logan Allen.
Yeah, you did do that.
And then he was lights out for the next 4 innings. Well, lights out strong. I mean, he only struck out 2 batters in the game. But he pitched really well after that. And ultimately, they lost yesterday for one of the rare times, not because of the starting pitching and not because of the hitting. They lost because of the bullpen. The bullpen did not get the job done. Cade Smith gave up 2 runs late in the game.
Yeah, he got hit
I
up.
thought it was very strange, Jason, that he switched up the bullpen yesterday, that Hunter Gaddis came in the 6th inning. I know Cade Smith's been great, but what they've been doing has been working. Yeah. I don't understand why, as great as Cade Smith's been, why change the roles last night Hunter Gaddis has been great too. I know we gave him a run the other day or whatever, but he's been lights out too. Why change their roles like that? I thought that was really odd.
I don't know, unless he wanted a certain matchup.
I guess,
in the earlier in the game. And like, I'm all for experiment. It's 162 games.
That's fair.
I'm all for experimenting. Yeah. You never know. What if Gaddis goes down in late September, October? See if Cade Smith can handle that role. So I don't have an issue with it. It was a little curious. I agree with that. And listen, they're not going to be lights out every game. You're going to have guys are going to be off. They are going to struggle. This bullpen has been phenomenal. You cut them a pass when it doesn't work once.
The only thing I guess I worry about is this a sign of things to come? Because A, just the nature of bullpens, it's hard to be great the whole year.
Right.
And B, they've gotten a ton of work.
The usage. Yeah.
And that's a concern because once again, you have a starter that he went 5 innings, and you're lucky he did go 5 innings. But now you got other guys coming because what's his name?
Cobb.
I was going to say Webb, but Cobb is coming off the IL soon. Looks like Matthew Boyd's going to come off the IL soon. It does appear that Bybee's going to be able to pitch this weekend.
What am I expecting out of Matthew Boyd?
Not much.
I don't know how you can expect. I mean, he hasn't pitched in over a year. He's never been, even at his best, he was maybe mediocre.
So he's just the innings eater.
He was a below average starter when he was healthy.
What was Ben Lively before?
Nothing.
Below average.
Nothing.
Below average.
So there's
so
you're
worse.
telling me there's a chance.
But also,
Ben Lively wasn't even below average. He was a journeyman. I mean, he was worse than Boyd, but Boyd wasn't very
I
good.
don't know. Was he?
Boyd was at least an established major leaguer. Lively wasn't.
But this is major surgery he's coming off.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at Matthew Boyd as an innings eater just to take some pressure off this rotation between now and the end of the season. Unless he comes
how
out.
many innings is he going to eat, though?
But he's an option.
Yeah.
On a rotation that was very thin on options not that long ago, he's an option that doesnn't cost him a whole lot.
Right.
You don't think he could get you 5 innings?
No. Not right away.
No.
Hopefully in September he can give him 5. I mean, they may be at a point where they want to go with a 6-man rotation for a while, just to give some of their starters, some of their better starters like Bybee and Williams a break. Williams' last start was a disaster. He gave up 6 runs.
Yeah.
And you got a big series coming up this weekend with Minnesota. They're playing well. Kansas City's
That is
playing
a
well.
big series.
Right now,
It's a-
you'd have 3 AL Central teams in the playoffs, which I don't know if that's ever happened.
What is the Guardians lead on?
I think it's 4.
4.5.
You got the
3.5.
standings up?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5 over Minnesota, 5 over
boys,
Kansas
them
City, but only 3 in the
boys
loss
come
column in Minnesota. So, I mean, they're right there.
Yeah.
As well as the Guardians have played, and they're still on pace for 95-plus wins.
Your boy played well offensively. Jimenez.
He's my boy now.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been saying for a week or two they need to have Manzardo up here. They should call him up. I don't know what they're doing. They're so against trading prospects, and yet they're not here, some of these guys.
Yeah.
So
Maybe how's he doing down there? Manzardo?
Great.
Oh, he is?
yeah.
Okay.
And the bottom of the lineup right now is a mess.
I think it's the same issues they had the first time. Where are you going to play him? If you're just going to DH him,
Well,
I think he should get more starts at first.
he of course should.
But they're very much, it seems that they're deferring to the veteran on that. And
Well,
they're letting Naylor.
Naylor's got to get over it. He's got to DH. Couldn't he DH twice a week? I mean, what's the big deal?
I tend to agree.
So what I would do is I'd just play him against every righty. And either a DH or first base. And, you sit Fry against some righties, or you could play Fry in the outfield a little bit.
Yeah.
You could play Fry over
John Kinsey.
man, I can't think of anybody's name today. I'm like losing my mind. You could play Fry a little bit in right field because Lane Thomas isn't great against righties.
Yeah.
So I think there's ways to mix and match and play Manzardo against almost every right-hander. I just think you have so many holes in the lineup right now, and it's deep enough into the season that I just can't wait for a guy who struggled all year to turn it around
Suddenly
at this point.
get hot in August.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't trust that.
I got a history question for y'all.
Yeah.
Jose, when he was young, he came up and got sent back to the minors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a
And
couple
then
times.
But
I
then
think.
a couple times.
Well, he wasn't a big-time prospect coming out of the minors.
Wow, that's crazy.
That happens.
standard.
That happens for
It
most
happens
but
a
players.
lot.
it's just
Mike Trout went down. Mike Trout came up and went down. and
Like
came
I
back
just
up.
you just hear some of these names and it's like, wow, they went through that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Go look at Mariano Rivera's stats as a rookie. He was a starting pitcher. He was terrible. And then he became the greatest closer that's ever lived.
Let me look it up.
I want to say he had a 5 ERA his first season, something like that. I mean, it happens all the time. Jackson Holliday is the best prospect in baseball. He came up, was terrible for
awful.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Went back down. They just called him up. He's been pretty good since he's been back up.
Yeah.
He homered against the Guardians.
Yeah.
I think he's got 3 homers since he's come back up in a week or whatever it's been. So, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I have your Rivera stats for Tyvus.
Oh, okay, what do you get?
Boy, you fast.
I have a laptop.
Yeah, go ahead.
In 19 games as a rookie.
Yeah.
Started 10 of them.
Yes.
In 67 innings.
Yeah.
He gave up 41 earned runs, 11 homers,
was
walked
right.
30 with a 1.5 whip,
That's terrible.
and an ERA of 5.51.
I even said he had a 5 ERA. What year was that? 91?
95.
95, not 91. Yeah.
The next year,
Wasn't that the strike? That was the strike season.
95 started late.
Yes, yeah.
144 games.
Well, 94.
next year
ended
he got
early
moved to the
and then-
bullpen. He finished third in the Cy Young.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally
Right.
next year he went to the bullpen.
I know.
61 games pitched, gave
Yeah.
up 25 earned runs in 65 games.
Oh, yeah.
Struck out 130, an ERA sub 2 and a whip sub 1.
Yeah. By the way, remember when we were talking at the beginning of the year, like who we were talking about the starters to most likely to get Cy Young votes? The most Cy Young votes on the Guardians will be Emmanuel Clase. Now, he's not going to win, but I bet you he gets more Cy. Tanner Bibee's not getting Cy Young votes.
No,
How do you-
sadly.
Nobody else is.
So if you're a pitcher, how do you fall in? I'm sorry that this
Yeah.
is becoming a
No, that's
baseball
fine.
history lesson. How do you become a reliever? Like, how did Clase
So
come
it's
in
your-
as a
they don't
starting
start.
pitcher?
So it's different now. When I was a kid, nobody came up as a reliever. Everybody, any good pitcher was a starter, and then when you failed as a starter, they kind of moved you to the pen.
okay.
By the late '80s, '90s, they started developing more relief pitchers.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of field starters who become dominant relievers.
That is true.
So
but now there's guys even in college who are coming up as relief pitchers.
So Clase is just a failed starting pitcher?
Clase was a reliever.
I think he's been a reliever pretty much.
When you have like one dominant pitch, you're a reliever.
But you know who was a starter when they first brought him to America was Aroldis Chapman. They thought he was going to be a starter
the Reds.
first.
The Reds started him.
Yep.
Yeah. But
And when he was throwing 100, nobody else was at the time. Now they got a guy on every team.
He's weird. He's honking.
He's awful. He's gross.
a lot of times, if you just have one wipeout pitch, you can't make it as a starter on just one pitch.
Right.
But Rivera with the cutter, Clase with the cutter, you can make it as a one-inning guy. You can be a dominant reliever. But also, like a guy like Hunter Gaddis is a good example, who has 3 or 4 pitches, was not a very good starter, though. You turn him into a reliever, and he's a wipeout reliever.
Now, in fairness, I don't know if he didn't get enough of a sample size to know for sure he couldn't have been a good starter.
I don't know. I saw enough.
Yeah, but how many starts did he get? I mean, but he is immediately turned into a great relief pitcher.
Yeah, and
one of the best setup guys.
And there's a lot of guys, especially closers, former starters, who become very good.
Dennis Eckersley.
Jabba Chamberlain for a while was
really
not
good
as long.
Reliever. But remember, Kerry Wood became a closer. I know it didn't go well here, but what's his name?
There's a ton of examples.
Oh, I mean, there's so many examples.
Blanking
but
on
anyway, a lot of times it's guys who are failed starters.
Okay.
But nowadays there are more guys that are being, even by college, are being groomed to be relief pitchers. Okay. Way more often. That never happened back in the day.
It's like the nickel position in football. You start off corner, and then as you got older, you kind of slid inside.
Right.
Nowadays, you got guys that specifically I just do nickel.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So a disappointing loss. They come back and tie it, and then they lose in extra innings. But yeah.
Totally off topic of last night, though. How about Tristan McKenzie's last start? We both said
11
it's a failed.
strikeouts, didn't he?
Yeah. Like, where did that come from?
Out of nowhere.
Where did that come from?
Out of nowhere.
It was
good to see.
Yeah, let's see if he can do it again and then again.
If he does it a few starts, we'll see. But
I'm still not ready to give up on him I think I'm ready to give up on him as a starter. Although if he comes
permanently or this year?
No, just this year.
This year, I am. Yes, I want him pitching out of the pen. I think they should be doing that
right now. I think he could be a viable option for them in October as a reliever. Even when he was getting blown up, we said that.
Yep.
But we'll see.
What's the pitching matchup today, Mike? It's Ben Lively. Oh, what's his name? He's coming off the IL for the first time. Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's Lively against the guy making his first start of the season.
Yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez, I believe.
I like the Guardians. I like the Guardians minus
I like
1.5.
Lane Thomas tonight plus over 1.5 total bases.
He has not been good as a Guardian yet.
But he kills lefties. Rodriguez is a lefty, and he's making his first start of the year.
He going yard then.
So I like him over 1.5 total bases. One other thing from baseball we have to acknowledge, the White Sox have now lost 21 in a row.
It ends tonight.
You think so? They're playing Oakland again. They lost Oakland last night.
It ends tonight. But J.P. Sears was on the mound. I knew they wasn't going to be him.
They have – so 21 is tied for second since 1900. Because anything – before 1900, there's all kinds of wacky things, teams going in and out of the majors. Since 1900 – they have tied the record. Remember, the Orioles started the season, what was it, in 88? They lost 21 in a row to start the season.
I remember that, yeah.
Was it 88? I can't remember the exact year. And the White Sox just tied them with 21 losses in a row. I believe they've lost 58 of their last 71. I think that's what it is. How many games out of first are they?
As of today, they are 41 and a half in first place.
Remember, now, when there was only the American League and National League, there would be last place teams that would finish that far back.
Yeah.
But since they've gone to 6 divisions, I don't know if any team has ever finished more than 40 games back. They probably have. I shouldn't say that. But they could easily finish 50, 55, 60 games out of first. They are going to set the record, the most losses ever in a season. Or at least since,
you think they're
modern
set
days.
The record?
The record is 120. That's the most losses.
They're going to set the record for
they
sure.
They're on pace to win 38 games.
They have 47 games left.
If you was a player for them.
Oh, my God. I can't remember.
Imagine being Michael Vargas, who got traded to the Dodgers in the thick of a pennant race.
That's true.
To the White Sox.
Wait, you didn't even finish the question.
Go ahead.
If you was a player for them and you didn't get traded at the deadline, would you been upset?
Oh, I've been so pissed.
I would run into a wall to try and give myself a concussion.
Oh, my God.
Or break a shoulder. And
how do you lose 21 in a row in baseball? I understand, like the Cavs. Remember the Cavs?
It is tonight. I'm telling y'all.
I was there.
Done.
Yes,
but I can understand in basketball. I guess I can understand that because if you're so bad, I mean, you'd think teams don't play hard every night. But to lose 21 in a row in baseball, I mean, again, it's happened once in the last 100. The all-time losing streak since 1900 is, I believe, the 61 Phillies lost 23 in a row.
Yeah.
I want the White Sox to break that.
Oh yeah, I'm all for
They
chaos.
haven't won since before the All-Star break.
I mean, I know I told the story before, but the Cavs, the year after LeBron left, they lost 10 straight.
Yeah.
I covered all 10.
Yeah.
And then they had the Knicks at home, and they won in double overtime, and I was at a birthday party, so I missed that game.
You missed that.
And then they lost 26 in a row.
So you watched 36 losses?
36 straight losses. I covered 36 straight losses.
Oh, my God.
It was,
that team was so awful.
Oh, it was. I've said
But this White Sox team is beyond hideous.
Yeah.
How many guys can you name?
I mean, now, still quite a few.
Yeah.
Although Eloy got traded. They still have Luis Robert. They still have Moncada, although he's hurt.
He's hurt. He's not playing.
He's coming back soon, I think. I don't know why.
I did not know Tim Anderson was out of the league.
He got cut by the Marlins.
Jose Ramirez ended his career.
Yeah,
yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of that, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Guardians/Indians related history, did you guys see the guy who died yesterday? The actor, the guy who played the general manager of the Indians in Major League.
Oh,
Charlie,
did he?
whatever.
Yeah.
His character's name was Charlie.
Yeah, he died?
He died yesterday.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Sad
movie.
news. That was an all-time movie.
2 days ago was the anniversary of
comeback.
Oh no, I was going to say Nolan Ryan knocking out Robin Ventura.
Oh, which was awesome. But also yesterday was the anniversary of the comeback against the Mariners in 2001.
That was wild.
Which is when Zach and I started talking about. I will admit that I embarrassingly said, wasn't it against the Rangers? For a second, I thought it was against the Rangers. I don't know what. I lost my mind.
It was the Sunday night game.
But that was a Mariners team that won 116 games Ichiro's rookie season.
Yeah, it was Sunday night baseball game.
Yeah, they were down 14-0 or 12. Was it 14?
I don't remember.
12? Even in the seventh, I think it was 14-2 in the seventh.
Yeah.
Zach admitted he went to sleep. He was a kid. Yeah. Anyway, but this White Sox losing streak, I'm fascinated by it. So there you go.
It's crazy. 21 is.
I mean, that's insane.
The Boston Celtics lost 20 games the entire regular season and postseason combined.
Yeah. Think
about that.
That is crazy.
All right, we got some other stuff to get
to.
Any other thoughts on the Guardians?
Oh, by the way, what was that?
Any last thoughts on the Guardians?
Any last thoughts on the Guardians before we move on?
Because I want to talk about the softball rosters. It's
I was going to bring that up now.
Rosters. Yes, we have time now.
You've seen them?
I did. I saw the email.
So
I have not seen it.
Here we go, guys.
I don't get the email, I guess.
So this teams have been set. The teams are the Lakeside Legends and the Downtown Dynamos, representing the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. On the Lakeside Legends, we have Mikey McNuggets.
Do we have a graphic for this?
Me and Tyvis. On the Downtown Dynamos, you have Jay Crawford. You have Anthony and his girlfriend, Brianna. We have Mike Polk. We have G. Bush. We have Jason Lloyd. So the Downtown Dynamos have more of a UCSS
why they
presence.
got all y'all? It's just us three? Just me, you, and
right.
Who is it, Mikey?
Me, you, and Mike. Right. Well, I don't. Mike's not on the. Mike hasn't been on the show in a long time, so I guess he doesn't count anymore. But they have Jay, Anthony, Jason, G. Bush, plus Jason's son.
Is it a 9-man roster?
No.
How many people on it?
Mike, do we know if these teams are fair?
No, I don't know half the names on this list, man.
Do you know anybody that's good that's not on the show? Not on our show.
Matt Babb was good last year. He's athletic.
Oh, so he's on our team. Okay.
Doesn't matter. We got me. That's all we need.
Brandon Simmons is the digital guy upstairs. He's pretty athletic.
Okay.
Is Matt Wentz playing? Because he's really good.
Matt Wentz is on our team.
Oh, boy.
Oh, so the teams are unfair again?
Whose team?
No, you guys have Crane, though. Crane was good last year.
Who's Crane?
Brian Crane.
Brian Crane, he's pretty good.
Who was that guy that was playing shortstop that was really good?
Neil Fisher, who is now in Philadelphia.
Oh, he's not here anymore.
He's the one that nearly broke AJ's foot on that line drive.
Yeah, he's now in Philadelphia.
Okay, so
if you guys have Wentz and we have Jay, and Crane,
y'all lost because y'all got Jay.
No,
Mike said this Matt Babb guy is good.
He's athletic. I don't know if he's good, but he's athletic.
Did he play last year?
I think he did, yeah.
Okay.
Matt also helps you. He's Tyvis. He's the one that helps me and you shoot the Coach Tyvis breakdowns. That's Matt.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I think they sound pretty fair.
Cool.
I'm excited about this.
Of course you do.
You guys are going to have to stall the opening of the game because I'll probably get there closer to like 115, 120.
Well, you're batting 11th, so it's okay.
Oh, is this the lineup?
No, but I'm just going to make you
bat me last. I don't
How many
if you're
people
not
is on
coming
the
till late.
roster? I'm only going to get like 2 at-bats.
Yeah, how many people are on the rosters?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 on one side.
I mean, listen,
I'm
not
bad
everyone,
one time.
but like, Bo, Betsy is on that. Betsy didn't want to play last year. She just
Your team has 16. We have 17.
I'm going to make sure I wait for my pitch.
Yeah, is Betsy going to play?
I got to make sure it's a good one.
it'll be fun. All
All right, I'll try to get there by 1. I'll leave the game a little early.
I might be a little tired because I won't get off of post game.
Come on, Tyvis. We need you.
I get off at 2:30.
We got to have Tyvis Roman center field.
Oh, yeah. That's
Cover a lot of ground out there. That field is huge.
Tyvis.
Well, they put 17 on the field last year, so it's not that big. Everybody
I think
played.
we have to stick to 9 this year.
I'm playing
That was
first.
10. You 4
I'll
outfielders.
play it first.
So, Tyvis.
Can't play anywhere else.
Something happened yesterday with the Browns that you have a perspective on that none of us are able to actually accurately weigh in on, and that is what upgraded facilities do in terms of player happiness, player willingness to sign there, etc. And the Browns gave a tour to the media yesterday showing off some of the facility upgrades they have made, and I'll show you a couple pictures and videos. This first one comes from Mary Kay, which is a new 25-yard video board classroom situation where they could actually line up on the turf field and kind of see things as it's happening in real time to get the correct spacing and placement on certain situations. That's one of the many upgrades. They upgraded the weight room as well. Let's see if this is going to work. Will Social News Desk work as I change it? Yes, Steve, take it back. Let's go. Our guy Sean Dunnigan tweeted out a couple of these new weight room upgrades, some squat racks. They overlook the practice field, brand new weights, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, how would we even know that those are upgrades by those pictures? You know what I mean? Like, they're just weights.
They look new.
Okay.
But, Tyvis, you had mentioned before that the Browns practice facility and their weight room and other accompanying facilities were just not up to par in terms of the rest of the NFL. The Browns clearly invested and made a intentional decision to upgrade those this offseason. What does that do from a player's standpoint in terms of knowing that the team has put the necessary money into getting the proper equipment, training rooms, video boards, whatever it may be?
And are you impressed with what you've seen?
Yeah, I am. The most impressive thing was the video board thing. I got to use one of those when I was in Houston for my little cup of tea. It actually works well because they call a play and then they put the formation that the offense is running, and you got to like line up and you like get to react to a receiver actually like running at you through a screen.
Cool.
So yeah, it is. And the thing is, everybody learns differently, and that's the thing that people don't realize. That when you just sit in that meeting room and just watch film, it gets so long, it gets boring and it gets long. People start falling asleep and stuff like that, and you start daydreaming and stuff like that. This is a way to keep people engaged, to like, all right, we're not doing our meeting in our meeting room today. Meet me in the video room. We're gonna walk over it like that. Like, that's where players is engaged. People care about those things. It's like, all right, I can see it, I can interact with it and stuff. It's open communication, which I think is very key on defense. Now you got corners and safeties talking. All right, it's 2x2 on this side. What you got? What you looking at on this? All right, hey, watch out for this. This formation alerts this. Hey, get ready for this over route coming over there. Let the other corner know. Come up with hand signals and stuff like that. That way, when you get in the game, it's second nature, And instead of just talking about it in the meeting room, now you stealing an extra rep. They say the best reps is game reps. Instead of those mental reps all the time, you physically got your body doing something. That's another way to steal another rep for the game to be ready for the game. So I really am impressed with that. As far as the weight room goes, I mean, it's bigger, it's better. It just entices you to make you want to go in there more.
What was the biggest problem with the Browns weight room?
It was small.
So that is just that.
Yeah, it was small. It was literally like Probably from this wall to that wall. It was
that's
not.
it?
It was not that big. It just was not that
wow.
big. It was like more like length like this, but like the width of it wasn't wide.
Oh yeah, I think I've been in.
Yeah,
there. It was
and then-
right off the outside.
Right
Yeah.
off.
Then as soon as you go through the door, you're on the indoor facility.
right,
Like
right.
it wasn't.
Is it in that same location, and did they expand it, or is it in a new location?
I
Do
don't
you know that, Mike?
It's up now.
Oh, it's up.
It's upstairs.
Yeah.
Were you
Oh,
there for
really?
this?
No,
tour?
I missed the tour. I was not there. I came for the interviews.
But it is up.
I'm almost positive the weight room is up now because it overlooks the field,
Okay.
the practice field.
No, well then then I would be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always a ton of construction. Well, every time I went in there. The last time
Yeah.
I was in there was last OTAs. No, training camp last year. I was
Right.
I was on the indoor and I seen them doing all this construction, but I never.
Well,
paid
you know
attention to
Jimmy. You know he's he don't want people saying he's got a crappy facility.
it. No. Then
So
they what was
he's been
their
upgraded.
what was their NFLPA grade? Wasn't it like a
It was not good. I'll tell you that.
All I tell you, all they got to do is fix the game day food.
Browns have the worst game day food.
That's what I hear.
Jason,
As far as like press food.
what do you got?
It's not great. It's not the worst.
Listen, I eat it fine, but I'm just telling you.
Who's the worst?
I haven't been to all of them.
Yeah, I don't
Out
travel.
of the ones you've been to?
I don't travel, so you can't ask me.
Cincinnati, I don't love.
What do you get? Chili?
You do at halftime. You get that crap. That
I've actually never had it.
Skyline chili?
Yeah.
I'm
me
not
either.
I like chili, but
I've never had Skyline chili either,
not
but I
my
like
favorite.
chili
there's a
too.
lot of
I like chili.
There's a lot
Not
of mixed
bad.
opinions on Skyline chili.
I know, that's what scares
Actually,
me about it.
Cincinnati's
polarizing.
pregame isn't bad. Cincinnati's pregame isn't bad.
Yeah.
The food?
Yeah, I don't know. Like there are some places that do some spreads. Minnesota does a spread.
Must be
Baltimore
nice.
used to do crab cakes at halftime. They don't anymore. At least they didn't last year. I was
cheap.
very upset about that.
Yeah.
Browns brought in an omelet station that was big last year.
They did
Okay.
do that.
Although I have to show them how to. They don't cook
make
the
it
omelet.
right?
They don't make it right. They don't make it right.
You got to show them.
I got to show them.
Like, you know what? Let me get that. Just back up right quick.
Yeah.
Let me do
You have
my
to flip it. You have to flip it.
They don't
Did you try
flip
to
it.
do that? Did you try to show them?
I
was
joked
that
with.
inappropriate?
I joked with one. That
But
like,
you really meant it. When you
I
were
meant
joking.
it. Yeah, but you got to flip. It's
I
in
never
the wrist.
got the
All
omelet
in the
last
wrist.
It's in the wrist.
It's all in the wrist.
But I mean, where were we going with that? Before
I have
you
no idea.
derailed
On
it
the
with
facilities
food?
tide,
Oh.
does it really make a difference? But when a player's looking to sign with a certain team,
Yes.
like was that legitimately a turnoff for the Browns? And could this be a reason a player who may not have previously considered Cleveland would actually consider the Browns in the future?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because think about it. A lot of your time is going to be spent at this facility, so you want to be somewhere that's comfortable, somewhere that's intriguing, that you actually is excited about. And if you go see what the Browns facility once looked like, it's like I'm about to spend 8 hours here every day, and it's like, ugh. But now you got other things that I can get better at. There's other ways that's helping me get better on Sundays there that's helping me. So, yeah, I'm more inclined to go there, and it looks really nice. And it's something to be excited about. So, yeah, it does help with free agency. It does entice free agents to want to go there.
And one of the coaches yesterday, I can't remember if it was Kevin. I can't remember. We talked to all the coordinators yesterday. One of them did mention that, like, guys don't necessarily take notes anymore. Like, when we were in school, at least you and me, you took notes. You sat there and you took notes. And you're right. Guys now aren't really taking notes. They're falling asleep in film
That
meetings.
film get
Plus,
that film get long, man.
I know it seems like we have, kids have a million allergies, or they have ADHD and ADD. There's a million different things. And sometimes people roll their eyes at it, but that's stupid. These things are real.
Oh, it's real.
And I know my son has ADHD. He also has a visual processing issue. And all this stuff sounds crazy and it's confusing. But there are some people that, like, they understand it. It's hard to put on paper, or there's a lot of different issues. And the fact that we know about these things, there's different ways you got to teach different people.
I have ADD, and if you tell me something, forget it.
Yeah.
You are wasting your time. I am not an
my
audio.
wife and my son. I like, meanwhile, you could tell me something, we got to do this, in 3 days, and I'll remember that. But I don't remember any experiences that I had as a
See,
kid.
I'm a doer. I have to do it. If I do it, that's how I learn it. Whether it's write it out, like I was a big flashcard memorize. I have to do flashcards. I have to write it out and see it. I'm very visual doing.
I was
hearing.
all of those. I could do anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well, that's good.
That was the
And
best
that's good
thing
for you.
Like if a coach came up to me and said, "Hey, on 2x2, we doing this for the rest of the game. All right, cool. I don't need you to draw it up. I'm good. Or if you drew it up, all right, we good. But it's people that can't handle that.
Right,
it's people that certain game plans that was like, well, we can't call that, we can't run that because he's not gonna get it.
Right.
So it's real. That's why I say it's so you got to come up with so many different ways that these players can learn it because everybody's not the same. Some people are visual. Some people you could just go to the meeting room and just say it to them and they got it. Some people got to go on the field and walk through it to actually get it.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was good either way.
All right.
Well, look at you.
Very fancy schman. When you are writing a column,
Yeah.
do you write rough drafts first?
No.
You just
write.
You just riff.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Even when I wrote the book,
Yeah.
I just wrote.
I would think with ADD you would need to pre-plan.
It makes it worse. For me, it makes
okay.
it worse. Everyone said when you're writing a book, you have to do an outline. I tried to do an outline. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to write.
Let's just get to it.
Just
Let's
get it
do
out. Just get it out.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Mikey.
All right,
We got
last
one more
thing-
topic here.
Yeah, we got one more topic. I'm proud of us for getting us all in today. We did a good job. So kudos to you guys. One other topic that I'm glad we have Tyvis here for because I think he told us last year a little bit of the behind-the-scene details on how the player vote and what stipulations and why people vote for certain ways. But if you guys didn't see over the weekend, the NFL put out its top 100 players for 2024 list. Steve, this is a 375, by the way, or 357. And it's players voted. And we talk about lists all the time. This one, a little off, I think.
People get mad at the media because of their lists, and and I always say the players would be worse at this.
Well, they proved it.
And they prove it always.
So in
No
case
offense,
you missed
Tyvis.
it, this is the top 10 of the voted on by the players, top players for the upcoming season. Number 1 is Tyreek Hill. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. 3, Christian McCaffrey. 4, Patrick Mahomes. Myles Garrett came in at number 5. Number 6 was Chris Jones, Trent Williams at 7, T.J. Watt at 8, Travis Kelce at 9, and Max Crosby at 10. But, Steve, go back to 1 through 5 real quick.
I mean, having Lamar, the fact that more players had Lamar Jackson ahead of Patrick Mahomes is ludicrous.
Why is that ludicrous? Why is this list bothering everybody?
It doesn't really bother me. It just proves that the players aren't any better at this than media.
Go back to that.
On
list.
what planet is Lamar Jackson better than Patrick Mahomes?
I don't know, the one where he won MVP last year.
Good for him.
Tyreek Hill being what? I don't know, the guy that was about to break Calvin Johnson's record? Yeah. Why would? Yes. I don't understand.
You think Lamar-
CMC, the guy that is 3 things that's guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and CMC scoring a touchdown. Yeah. Why would
you think Lamar Jackson's better at football than Patrick Mahomes?
He was last year? Yes. He won the MVP award.
Who would you rather have as your quarterback?
Yeah.
Probably the guy that won the MVP award.
You'd rather have Lamar Jackson.
He had the better year last year. He did. Yes, Mahomes did some crazy stuff, but his numbers wasn't great. His guys was dropping the ball.
I don't care. He's still fine.
Still the best quarterback. That's fine. If I'm going off of last year stats,
Well, is it just about last year?
Yeah.
And just about the traditional stats?
It couldn't be because Aaron Rodgers on the list.
Who played better in the playoffs?
Mahomes.
Lamar Jackson of any.
I mean, clearly Mahomes did. He won it all.
I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan.
Are you?
Big. I love him.
Don't say that.
I thought he was going to be really good.
Don't say that.
I said
you're in the Cleveland market
at draft at draft time.
Better than Joe Burrow.
No.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to check your temperature.
I loved Lamar Jackson coming out. I thought he was going to be really good. I thought he was going to be better than some of these. Now, I thought Baker was going to be good too, and I thought Josh Rosen was going to be good. So
you thought Josh Rosen was going to be good?
Yeah, I think
he was the only one I didn't think.
I think I was just hoping because I wanted a Jewish quarterback because we got no quarterbacks. We got barely any football players. We haven't had a quarterback.
Who's the best Jewish quarterback in history?
I mean, Sid Luckman, I think, was Jewish. Maybe I don't know. I'm not even sure about that.
How Jewish do you have to be considered Jewish?
It's just if you consider yourself Jewish.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't care. It doesn't matter
Jay
what the percentage
Crawford's African American.
Who is?
Jay, he's 8%.
8%? There you go. I wish I was. I got boring genetics. But anyway, what was I saying? Lamar Jackson, of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, has been the worst in the postseason. Of the guys who have played a number of postseasons. Who's been worse?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson's barely played. And Deshaun Watson right now is not considered a top quarterback. of the top quarterbacks in the league,
Josh.
who's been worse? No, Josh Allen's been way better than Lamar Jackson.
I'm just trying to think of the top quarterback.
Yeah, nobody. People kill Dak Prescott. He's been better than Lamar in the playoffs. Lamar has been absolute trash in the playoffs.
How many games has
Mike,
Dak won in the
brought up
playoffs?
numbers. Mike, give me Lamar Jackson's postseason numbers.
How many?
I'll tell you right now, they're not good as I pull this
They're
up.
awful. He's been terrible in the playoffs.
Dak won playoff games?
Not a lot.
For his career,
Yeah.
in 6 playoff games,
6 playoff games. 6.
Lamar has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Oh, that's awful.
His completion percentage, 57.4%.
Awful.
His yards per game, 220.
Awful.
A little distorted because he threw for 365 in one game when they lost. He had 2 interceptions in that
Right.
game. His rating in 6 playoff games, 75.7.
Awful. So now give me, because people kill Josh Allen all the time and Dak Prescott. Give me their numbers if you could.
Josh Allen in the playoffs.
Yeah, how
has
many games?
played 10 games,
Okay.
21 touchdowns,
21.
4 interceptions.
I mean, come on.
That's phenomenal.
He's averaging 272 yards per game and has a 100 quarterback rating.
I mean, people have killed him unfairly. He would have gone to the Super Bowl that one year if it wasn't for their defense.
And Dak Prescott in 7 playoff games.
Yeah.
How has Dak played in more playoff games than Lamar? That seems crazy.
Well, he's been around a lot longer.
Yeah, I guess he has. It just feels like Lamar.
Because Lamar's gotten knocked out early every year.
In 7 playoff games, Dak has 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 91.8, and he's throwing for 280.3 yards per game.
How many touchdowns and interceptions?
14 to 7, 2 to 1.
So that's a lot of interceptions, too. He hasn't been great in the playoffs, but Lamar's been the worst of all the guys, by far. So he's played badly in the playoffs. Yes, Lamar's dynamic, does things that other guys can't do. He's all. I mean, if you're just judging on last year, I guess you can make the argument that Lamar was better than Patrick Mahomes last year. I don't agree with that, but you can make the argument certainly. But
I mean, he won the MVP.
Okay, but that doesn't mean he was. That doesn't mean that's right, or that he was definitely the best player.
Listen,
they always get it right. It's always so. Steve Nash should have beaten Kobe Bryant for the MVP.
James Harden beat LeBron for the MVP. Who'd you
Yeah.
rather have on your team, James Harden or LeBron?
I don't understand what that has to do with anything.
It's the exact same thing.
No, it's not.
Just because the guy had a great year statistically, and fine, give him the MVP.
Yeah.
I'd still rather have Patrick Mahomes every
No,
time.
There is not a team in the NFL except for maybe the Ravens that would take Lamar over Patrick. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
Are we sure the Ravens would take Lamar?
No, I'm not sure the
No,
Ravens
no,
would take.
You're right. And by the
every
way,
team.
they got Tua ahead of Burrow on the list. And I guess if you're just going by last year, okay,
Burrow
fine.
got hurt.
But is the list supposed to be just
It's
how
year,
you did the
it's,
year before?
it's year to year. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
you don't factor in their careers at all?
I thought it would. I thought it was coming into this season.
Yeah.
Who is the top 100 players?
I actually don't have a problem with the Tyreek Hill thing because people are quarterbacks. You know, quarterbacks are more important. But if you're saying is Tyreek Hill as good a wide receiver as Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback, it's probably
I had
arguable.
That man right there was my first pick in our fantasy pick draft last year,
Tyreek.
and I won it not because of him, because he got hurt, because Amari Cooper just went bananas at the end of the year.
Are there any? Who else on the Browns is on the list besides Miles?
Well, Denzel Ward did not make it.
Yeah, that's crazy. How many corners are on the list?
He can pull that up. McNuggets.
Yeah, hold on one sec.
He be on it.
I would just go to the bottom and who's the bottom corner.
Yeah, you don't need to know the exact amount, Mike. Don't worry about it.
Are you trying to see who?
NFL does it. They split it up by tens is the issue. You can't
Yeah,
just
they
scroll.
suck. Doesn't matter. Denzel should probably be
Ward's
on
the top one.
Now remember, there's a crazy amount of football players. There's,
How many games did he miss last year? Just 2?
I think it was 2. There's what?
The lowest cornerback
1,600
is-
football players.
The lowest cornerback is Tariq Woolen of the Seahawks.
Oh, he's better than him.
Denzel's better than him?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other Browns on the list, Mike?
No.
Yeah, Amari Cooper was number 70.
Okay.
Where is Brandon Aiyuk?
No.
Cooper was 70. Aiyuk was 66.
Oh.
Yeah.
So fair trade. Where was Elijah Moore?
317.
300. Try 1,300.
I don't know if that may have been the only two they
Y'all
had.
go eat y'all
Who
words
else?
this year.
I mean, Batonio, no Batonio.
They do a terrible job sorting this, so I'm going through 10 by 10.
Don't worry about it.
That 8 ball coming back this year.
Yeah.
Y'all better mark
Anyway,
my word. I'm taking him in fantasy.
It really doesn't matter. My only point is that the players don't do any better job than media members picking the order.
I mean, yeah. Because it's
all opinion in the end.
told
Like
you,
you made the argument for Lamar,
that-
and you arguing that he won the MVP is a fair argument.
You wouldn't fear going against Lamar over
I
Mahomes?
absolutely would. Oh no, not over Mahomes.
If you was a player.
No, because when it matters the most, Mahomes is usually great,
But the problem
and
is
Lamar's never great.
I'm saying to go against. Like Lamar could
I didn't play defense.
Lamar
so
could do so much. Like
then why
as a corner?
Yeah.
As a corner, if I'm going against Mahomes, I just stay on top of the route.
But then why?
But if it's Lamar, like I got to
Then why
worry
has
about
Lamar
him
been
running.
so bad in the playoffs?
I have no idea because everybody could. You know why? Because his defensive coordinator was a dummy that decided to play zone against Travis Kelce, and they shredded it. Mahomes shredded it, and then they went man to man, and I think they scored 3 points in the
and
second
in this
half.
past game,
So it was completely on the defensive coordinator for making a stupid game plan.
Right.
That's why.
And the offensive coordinator too. They threw the ball too much.
You said if you're a corner going against Mahomes, just stay on top of the route. Well, he seems to have pretty good success against corners.
No, I'm saying that's what I would do. But like Lamar, like I gotta cover this dude for like 20 seconds.
I don't know. Mahomes.
I think a lot of players reacted like you do as a defensive player. You're like, man, I don't know what the hell he's going to do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I got to win a game. There's no chance on earth I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
I agree with that.
And nobody is.
I agree with that statement.
Lamar Jackson should certainly be near the top of the list.
Like Tyreek Hill, like if I was a corner, I wouldn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta guard this dude. Oh my gosh.
All I know is the best performance of the day is me. I've had to pee since 12:11.
Well, way to go. I didn't even pee before.
12:11.
I looked at the clock.
Yeah,
how am I going to
chats?
get through 49 minutes?
That's sad.
I got 4 to
Jason,
go.
I'm with you. I got to use the bathroom too.
That's what y'all get
We
for
got
not
one
going
super
before
chat.
the show.
I did.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. One super chat.
We got one super chat. It comes from Professor Chaos.
Yeah, sure.
Which fan base of a team that has never been to or won a Super Bowl is the most insufferable?
Well, the Browns are one of those teams.
The Lions.
Who are
Never
the teams?
been to?
Been to or won a Super Bowl.
There's not been a lot of teams.
Is the most. I think Jacksonville is
Jacksonville's
on
that list.
Buffalo.
Oh,
No,
they've
what
been
are you
to
talking
Super
about? They went to
Bowls.
4 Super Bowls.
Oh, I thought they
The
said
Texans.
never won.
The Texans are on that
So the
list.
Texans,
The Jaguars, the
Jaguars,
Browns, the Lions.
No, I don't find any of those teams to have insufferable fan bases. The insufferable fan bases are the Giants, the Steelers,
Cowboys.
the Cowboys, the Eagles. Jet fans aren't as bad as Giant fans because they haven't done any winning. Giants,
Patriots
Steelers.
and Cowboys are the two.
Oh,
most
Patriots.
insufferable.
Patriots. How did I forget the Patriots?
Yeah, they're going away, though.
They're
going
but
away.
Those fans are so awful, annoying.
They're going
because
away.
all their teams have done so much winning in the last 20 some odd years. So, yeah, I would say the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Eagles. Sorry, Steve. You fans are insufferable. The Giants and the Steelers are the most obnoxious fans.
Steve just having.
That's what I would say.
Steve, why your head coach deleting text messages? That's what I want to know.
Is he on drugs, their head coach?
Sharon Moore? I was talking about the Wolverines.
Oh, sorry.
Not Nick
Oh, yeah,
Sirianni. Not Nick
Sirianni looks like I don't know what's going on because his eyes are always like whack. I don't know what's happening with him.
I was telling Steve that his Wolverines.
Oh, yeah, they're a bunch of cheaters. Everybody knows they cheat. I don't care that they cheated because it's college football. Who cares? But they cheated. Stop trying to argue that.
Well, Jim
Does Steve think
Harbaugh-
they didn't cheated? They didn't cheat?
I don't know what Steve. If he says that, he's delusional. You
Okay,
are
you know you
delusional,
cheated.
old man. If you
I mean,
think
Ohio
that-
State's coach got fired because of
some
pants.
some tattoos.
Yeah, tattoos.
Did you guys hear
Dumbest thing
Jim
ever.
Harbaugh yesterday when he was asked about it?
Yeah, he did this whole thing where he was saying, I've never lied, cheat, or stolen. I was raised that way, and I will always go down that way. With that being said, I didn't do anything with the Wolverines. I didn't cheat or none of that, and I'm ready to get back to the Chargers. I said, this man hilarious. He don't care. He got all scot-free and he could care less about anything else.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Steve he's like, yeah, we cheated and we won. So
Did he say that?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. They cheated. They won. To the victor go the spoils. If you could live with yourself. I would never want to cheat in that way to win. I know some people don't care about that. To me, it's different than steroids. What the Astros did. Like, I don't want to win that way. I would never want to win that way. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know.
Steve is sick. That's sick.
We'll see you on overtime on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
He did.